Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Straight Up the Creator Cast. I'm here with a very, very special friend of mine. His name is Sam Woodhall. Will you please introduce yourself, Sam?
Hi, I'm Sam Woodhall.
Wow.
I'm a video editor, motion graphics artist, graphic designer, content creator, YouTuber, Twitch streamer. I'm like everything. I'm a jack of all trades. But you might well know me for being the editor on the Alpha Gaming YouTube channel. That's probably my main thing. I also do a lot of graphic designs for Twitch streamers and things like that. But I mostly make YouTube videos and all that fun stuff.
I would dare say you're starting to become known for your own personal work more so than the work with Alpha Gaming.
That's been the what's it called? The goal for the past, I guess, half a year since the start of the year. Well, it's been about 9 months now, nearly, or 10 months nearly, that I've started kind of going on this quest for, kind of making my own independent name in the content creation industry and content creation world. So, yeah. So hopefully it is going in that direction. So
when did you get started making? We'll start kind of from the front and work backwards. When did you start really making your own stuff? With this new YouTube channel of yours?
With the new channel, oh gosh, that was like 2019, January 2019. So over a year, about 18 months, 20 months ago, something like that. That was like my first get back into it kind of thing, because I had I've been doing YouTube for a while before then. Got off the YouTube bandwagon to do university and make money, really. Doing video production and video editing. And that was going to be my main industry. Was like I was going to have my own video production company or have my own video editing post production house, and that was going to be the kind of path I wanted to lead. But things took a different course. I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. And I decided to step off of that and chase a passion that I think that felt right for me in a lot of ways, and just didn't feel like I was just trying to be something that I'm not. Even though I knew the task well, I knew how to edit video, film video. I didn't like working for other people for doing. Sure. I didn't like doing business videos or client videos that were like, this is our business, this is what we're doing, and the company client video things. I didn't like doing those. Yeah,
the corporate, I didn't enjoy it. Sterility, the corporate, if you will,
side of things. It just, it was very sterile. Yeah, that's a great word for it. And it had a lack of emotion there. There was a lack of expression in my work. It felt very cut paste dry kind of stuff, and I just didn't. I just didn't enjoy it for a long time.
So what made you? So I went down a rabbit hole the other day.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Go on.
I went to, well, now I will talk about that, what you're thinking of later, but I went down on your Twitch channel and watched a few older clips from your Twitch channel. And there was a clip from this past December where somebody came into chat and you asked them, you said, did you find me through Alpha Gaming or did you find me through my own YouTube?
Oh, yes.
And they said, I found you through your YouTube. And you said you are the first person to ever come in and say that. You're the first person to ever come in from my YouTube. And you gave them like VIP or whatever.
The VIP badge. Yeah.
Now,
I think that's his name. Yeah, I think I know. His name was Klutzy, I think his name was in the in chat. I still remember his name.
Now, you went from first person discovering you through your YouTube in December, essentially, to February, you were a Twitch partner. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
So was that kind of an explosion? Was that kind of a steady thing? Was that a long time coming? What happened there?
So I got it's a good little story, this is actually, and it's a very much a, I guess, a permission thing for most people that I'm going to talk about. And that is so I started hitting the numbers for partner, must have been around, when was it now? When was I in DreamHack last year? It was November. I applied at the end of October. So I got it October. And so October, November. Yeah. So remember at the end of October, I applied for partner. So I got it around October 20th, I think, something like that. And then a month later, I got rejected from my first application of being partner. But
as many do.
Those numbers, I started getting those numbers around August, September time. and I just tipped over the 75 viewer mark, and then applied straight away in October. So it was kind of a 3-month period where I was trying to push for that partner period, and I had a severe impact of my content from that point. I didn't post to YouTube as much. I wasn't posting relevant content. I was just focusing on Health for Gaming and my Twitch channel. And after a while, after I got rejected, and I was like, oh damn, this is I was like, dang nabbit kind of thing. I was kicking myself about it all. Mm-hmm. I kind of made the active decision of reducing my time on Twitch to focus on the YouTube content. And then about a month or two later, that was January. So by the end of February, I'd reapplied. No, when did I apply again? I applied in January. So from December to January, I literally went full force into YouTube stuff. Mm-hmm. And the second time I applied, I got it.
Nice.
Because I wasn't focused on the numbers at that point. I was like, I don't care about the numbers. I actually haven't looked at my Twitch numbers in 4 months.
Jeez, really? Not once?
I don't know what my average viewership on Twitch is. I don't.
Like, not even a clue. Not even remotely.
I'd a guess low 190s to high to medium 200s, that kind of range.
Just by gauging by chat activity.
From chat activity, from viewership. So I'd say lowest 190, highest 220, maybe.
You're already reinforcing. You're already reinforcing something I think we both preach, and that's focusing on value and focusing on bringing.
I got so narrow-minded on the Twitch grind. I call it the grind because you're not grinding anything, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But like the idea that like I need to get these numbers up, I need to focus on keeping chat engaged and to focus on keeping chat there, and it did worse for my viewership, my audience, my engagement than actually helping me out, if that makes sense. Did
you have like your viewer count visible at that time?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
and I kept looking at it, but then I went for a week where I turned it off, and then I turned it back on again, and I've left it on ever since. Like, it was one of those things where I was like, I got so nervous about it because I didn't want to be let down at the end of the stream thinking we didn't meet the average, and so I was just like, all right, what do? I got to keep it on,
Yikes!
And I had this spreadsheet which is tracking my average viewership across a week. And like it was saying, right, if you get to meet the average, you need to have these streams above 50. Because I had a 24-hour stream where I averaged like 200 viewers, and I was like, this is incredible.
Gotcha.
So I did my 24-hour streams at 200 viewers. I've done the 24-hour requirement on the hours now. All I need to do, or the 25 hours requirement, all I need to do now is make sure that my average is above 50. And I was always making sure my average is above 50 in order to get the achievement. But it didn't matter. And that was me focusing on the numbers for so much that I neglected probably the most important part of growing on Twitch, which is not growing on Twitch, which is kind of weird. So.
It's about getting your name out there, which Twitch doesn't do.
Absolutely. No, it doesn't. And yeah, it's a very it's a great platform to connect with, but to be discovered on, it's very it's down the drain.
Did you think about streaming on YouTube at all during that time?
No, not really. Oh, I've got some ice in my mouth. There we go. No, not really. I had my heart set on the purple check mark.
Yeah.
And I had this vision in my head of being this Twitch streamer that was a designer and an editor as well. And like, again, I got boxed in, I got closed up, I had like blinders on, and I couldn't see anything else except for getting this check mark. And it really became an obsession, quite unhealthy obsession for a short period of time. And YouTube wasn't even a consideration. I don't think Valkyrie or anyone like that, or Courage JD didn't get signed to YouTube at this point. I think Shredder just moved to Mixer. I think Ninja moved
around that time,
November before then. So Ninja moved before then, in like November time. Then it was Shred was in actually no, it might have been Shred in November time, October time.
Yeah.
Ninja before then. And then Valkyrie and Courage moved at the beginning or the early part of January or early part of 2020. But no, I had never considered YouTube to be on the playing field for a long time. But nowadays, that's a different story.
Yes, it is.
That is a different story. So
now, when did you start getting into Twitch specifically? What made you really fall in love with Twitch?
That's a very good question. I don't actually know where I first heard about Twitch. I think it was always on my radar. I didn't know before just in TV. I don't think I knew it when it became Twitch. My friend Rob started streaming on Twitch through his PS4 and playing Overwatch and all that. And I started watching him on Twitch, and I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that kind of experience of being able to kind of interact and have chat there. And I really enjoyed that, you know, that kind of friendly interaction that was there. But I never considered myself a streamer at the point. I thought, oh, maybe I'll try and get into it. However, that changed once I joined the Yogscast. The Yogscast was a media group that was a part of the YouTube channel that I was a part of for, I would say like 9-10 months. It was a very short contract. It was only for a short period. But over that time, I learned to do Twitch graphics and about Twitch streaming, and I really got invested in the idea of making live content. It was really an interesting thing for me. And I had watched members of the Yogscast on Twitch as well. Like I would watch Tat Films, I watched the main Yogscast channel. I was a big fan of those guys, Martin Littlewood and all those in the Littlewood. I was a big fan. And so those guys were like the staple, I guess, at the time, all that I knew of Twitch, more or less. You know, I had no idea about, you know, Courage and Ninja, all these people that are on the platform. So I was still relatively new. And this is like, you know, late 2017, you know, into early 2018. So that was my introduction to Twitch. And since when I left the Yogscast, actually just before then, about a month before I left the Yogscast, I made plans to start going like in the new year. I'm going to start streaming on Twitch. And by December 2017, December 2017, and then in January 2018, I had been starting on Twitch. I think it was 2017, 2018. I could be having my dates mixed up, but it's around that time.
Did you start January 2019, did you say?
I think I had.
Or were you streaming for a year before you decided to really?
So I streamed. It was 2019. Sorry, it was the end of 2018. I streamed.
Gotcha.
So I streamed, sorry, 2018. In 2018, started 2019, and then this year. My bad. I had my dates mixed up.
It's crazy to me.
Period.
It's crazy to me that you say that
2020 is. I've lost my brain. This is how long. It feels like 2021. I don't know.
It does.
Like Twilight Zone. It's just horrible. This year is.
It's crazy to me that you say that the Yogscast got you into Twitch, because like 10 or so years ago, like 8 years ago now, Yogscast got me into YouTube.
Yes,
like
same. No, it was the same. Exactly the same. It's exactly the same story for me. Like YouTube and Yogscast were like a marriage. Like Minecraft was big at the time. They were blown up on YouTube because of the content for that. YouTube actually started off. I started off watching more Doctor Who based things on YouTube when I first started out, and then I got into Minecraft, got into gaming, got into watching the Yogscast, and watching those kind of that era of people. There was Tobuscus. I don't know if anyone remembers Tobuscus. He was one of them I used to watch. There was the Minecraft project by Syndicate as well. That was a big thing. A lot of Minecraft streamers, a lot of Minecraft content creators, but Tobuscus, CTFXC. Does anyone know who they are? Shay Carl, people like those guys were like the YouTubers of my generation. They got me into kind of, you know, vlogging, making content, yada. And YouTube was simpler times back then.
Yeah, no kidding.
It really feels like 100 years ago. But YouTube was simpler times back then, and it really felt like this new, diverse, creative platform that you could do not everything you wanted, but you could do literally what you wanted to do on, and you could have a level of freedom, and you could see into these people's lives, and it was taking over the world. It really was. Like people, you know, daily vlogging became so popular because of, you know, CTFXC, Shay Carl, and Boyfriend vs. Girlfriend, I think it was, and a few other people that were doing daily vlogging, and that kind of content I watched, as well as the Yogscast, got me deep into the rabbit hole of YouTube.
I love talking about this kind of stuff because I think because of success, a natural consequence is that everybody who knows you really in the present knows you because of your success, right?
Yes.
And so to talk about a little bit about where you come from, I think can give people a very, very useful perspective, because I think people see there's a threshold somewhere between you and I, and Harris is way beyond it, and other people are way beyond it, where somebody stops. Really, somebody can't really see the steps just by looking at them that they took to get to the pedestal that they've climbed up on, or the mountain that you've climbed. And so pulling back the curtain and seeing that a little bit of the mountain that you've climbed to get where you are, I think is going to be useful for people.
Well, it is interesting to say that, because I've been thinking for a long time, like the road for success and what that entails. I've been thinking about it a lot lately, and like it's always a thing where people always see people from where they are now relative to where they are now, and they don't look at what it took to get there. You know, people always see Michael Jordan now versus the years it took to get there. People always see, you know, Kobe, rest in peace, who got to where he isn't, you know, where he was today, and not the years before that to build up that portfolio, that success, that work ethic, that the failures that he went through. And I think that is an important thing to have perspective on, is that people don't look at the big picture when they look at this industry, any industry really, when success is involved. Sorry, I thought somebody was talking my door.
That's right.
But the bigger picture, nobody looks at that roadmap, as you say, like looking behind that, seeing like, well, what did, you know, this person do to get to where they are today? You know, did they, you know, I've been an editor for close to 15 years, nearly now, probably, to like get to where I am. I've been in the industry for that long. I know the lingo. I know you know, I've been rejected from jobs. I've had heartbreak. I've suffered through so many things that have led me down this road. And there's a sense of like, looking back at where you've come from, but also not letting that kind of hold you back from going further. You know, like that kind of, you know what I'm trying to say. So
yeah, I think people get intimidated when they hear time scale as well. You know, they hear that they hear like, oh, Sam's been editing for 15 years. Like, I may as well not even try. I'll never, you know, 15 years is way too long or something like that. But you're only 26. Yeah. like Gary Vee would be like, you're young as fuck. You know, like
exactly.
And people have been, you know, a lot of people have been working on things way longer than they really think about when they really look back. And you know, it's a matter of, do you have the patience and the hard work and the smart work to really just decide, you know what, I'm going to be one of those people who does live their dream. You know, I'm going to decide that this is my dream and I'm going to live it.
Yeah.
So
I think patience is the single ingredient that is missing from every single success story. And people say how, oh, I tried and it didn't work. Well, I get this question a lot. It's like, you know, Sam, I'm doing what you're saying. I'm uploading videos to YouTube. I'm making more content. I'm not seeing results, man. I think you're wrong.
And they're 4 videos in.
4 videos that are 3 hours long, and are just, or our Twitch highlights and Twitch compilations. And you look at that and you go, I think you got the wrong idea. But it's like, it's just patience. I think it's the single missing ingredient for, you know, you've watched Powerpuff Girls?
I have, yeah.
You know, it's sugar, spice, and everything nice. I think it's hard work, patience, and perseverance. That's the thing. That's the recipe for success. And like, it's like, I really don't. I just, I think people have such a. I think again that comes down to the modern. I think social media, and how the thing is that social media isn't a thing to blame. People blame social media for everything that's going on wrong in the world. People blame social media for, oh, it's affecting our kids, these video games, you know, the, you know, gun violence and all that. And this entire conversation about how social media is bad. Social media is social media. Social media isn't a thing that is an entity outside of itself. Social media is you. It's what you consume. It's what you look at. It's a mirror. Yeah,
exactly.
Social media is. There's nothing about social media that isn't right with, like, if something's wrong that you're seeing, it's you. You are consuming something that you are perceiving as wrong with social media, it's not. It's a mirror. It's reflecting back what it sees. It's one of those things.
I think social media revealed what was already there. I don't think I don't think it brought in new evil or anything like that.
It put a massive spotlight on the world as it is, and the dysfunctional household that planet Earth is.
Yes.
It revealed a lot more about us than I think we like to admit, and I think that really scares people sometimes when it comes to starting in this career and starting in this industry.
I think you're exactly right. I think people
I started on this point and I forgot where I was going.
That's okay. to bring it back to the Powerpuff Girls analogy that I really liked.
Yes.
I think people are thinking man, I just lack chemical X, right? They see people who have 1 million subscribers on YouTube, and they say that person has something that I could never have, or that I wasn't born with, when that is simply not true. Like, it's simply untrue.
Chemical X is you.
Yes.
That's the thing. That's the thing that people don't seem to kind of understand or grasp. Is I think I actually put this out as a tweet the other day.
I think you did. Yep.
It's like, your niche isn't some long lost scroll buried in the pyramid somewhere. Your thing is not like your niche isn't a thing that you should spend years meditating on. It's you. That's your niche. The things you like, the things you enjoy, the things you enjoy making. That's your niche. Make it, but make it good enough that you will like. If you enjoy watching it from other people, you should make it. That is pretty much the simplest solution for things. If you enjoy watching somebody make the things that you enjoy, you should make it and share it off and do the same thing.
Some of my favorite Gary V that I've ever heard was he said, you should find out what it is that you have to be doing that allows you to breathe. He said, I couldn't breathe if I weren't doing business. I was born to be a businessman. He said, when my friends were out building snowmen, I was seeing whose driveway I could shovel to make a little bit of cash.
For money, exactly.
I was seeing, when summer came around, when the flowers were blooming and people were enjoying the flowers, I was picking flowers and selling them to my neighbors. Like he said, I was born to do business. I can't breathe unless I'm a businessman. And there are people who cannot breathe unless they're making YouTube videos, unless they're doing Twitch streams, unless they're doing audiobooks, unless they're writing, unless they're doing art. And they're going and working at Walmart or working at an office for 9 hours out of their day or 10 hours out of their day, coming home and maybe doing an hour of what they love and saying, man, I just wish I had more time to do this. And doing that for 40 years, doing that for 40 or 50 years now, especially in America with retirement completely bonked. It's going to be like 60 years, and exactly. And I really, my goal now, ever since I've heard that and ever since I've realized that, my goal has been to get people to understand that doesn't have to be them. That doesn't have to be anybody. I think everybody has the potential, or I think anybody, I should say, has the potential to do what they love for a living and with their life. And I want to communicate that to as many people as possible.
I think it comes down to it's a double-edged sword, though, in my opinion, from what I've experienced. And it's sad to say this, and it's true. The majority, I'd say 99% of people who watch this podcast or listen to this podcast, who are watching this stream live, who are talking about making content on YouTube and Twitch, 99% of people won't do it.
That's exactly right.
They won't do it because they lack either patience, they lack either the work ethic to do it, or they lack the desire to want to do more, like that kind of burning urge to do it. I guarantee, like, the majority of streamers on Twitch right now, there's a reason why only the 1% are on Twitch right now that are succeeding, is because they have the right business mindset, they have the right mindset to think outside and think of beyond a week, a year, 3 years. They are looking so far ahead of their own game that they are got things in progress right now, that are working on things in progress right now. They are planning so much ahead of time that is making them succeed, where people are just there on Fortnite, Apex, Warzone, or whatever, twiddling their thumbs, playing games for 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
There's a difference between business content creators that are business people and content creators that are just doing it for a hobby. And that's fine. If you're doing it for just for a hobby, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're doing it to succeed as a career and you're complaining about not getting the viewers you need or getting the money you need or whatever, if you're complaining about all of that and you're sitting there, you're one of those people that's sitting there twiddling your thumbs, playing Warzone, playing Call of Duty, playing Apex, and you're going, man, why is no one watching my stream? I bet you it's those people. You're the problem. Like, that's the thing. So, and so many people have that mentality and that I want to say that kind of that perspective on the way the world works. It's slight entitlement, I would admit, but it's also work ethic and thinking that they can just get where they want to get to because the platform handed them on a dish. That isn't the case at all.
Self-awareness, even.
Self-awareness, and like just again thinking outside of the platform. So many people are so constrained to the platform they're on. They only think outside of the four walls of a Twitch. No one thinks about, how can I get more engagement in my viewership? Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll change my schedule. I'll change the game. What's the not? That's a question you get a lot. What game is saturated on Twitch for me to stream so I can get more viewers? That is the biggest thing that you hear. What's the game that has the least amount of saturation so I can get the viewership on Twitch? You still box into the four walls of Twitch. Think outside it for a second. What if you put a video up on TikTok that plugged your Twitch channel and it got 1 million views overnight? What would happen to your viewership on Twitch then? What do you think? You
Our buddy Scott
back. What if your TikTok blows up and you get 1 million views? If less than 1% of that comes through, you're set for life.
It's 1,000 viewers.
It's 1,000 viewers.
1%,
1% of them. And TikTok and all those platforms are such shareable places for content that they're not utilized in the right way. So I don't think they're still utilized in the right way now.
Yeah.
And TikTok is still blowing up. So like,
that's right.
Imagine if somebody, I mean, look at what happened to Vine in its later days before it got, the button got pushed.
Yeah.
You had people like King Bach, you had, Logan Paul, you had obviously Harris as well.
I was about to say Harris.
We were making content that on this platform that was 7 seconds, and it told and captivated people so much more than some long form content on YouTube, and it was incredible to see that. And people that take advantage of those other platforms are going to see a massive advantage on others.
I think so the other day, well, first of all, our buddy Scott got viewers from TikTok without even having a TikTok. It's one of my favorite stories to tell. He had somebody come in who had a TikTok, was plugging their own Twitch in that TikTok, and their channel was hosting Scott when they were offline, and people were finding Scott's channel while through that TikTok. And they were like, hey man, I found you through TikTok. And Scott was like, I don't have a TikTok. I don't get it. And we finally tracked it down. It was ridiculous. So, and I think what you're describing here.
Just got a really big TikTok video. Just get a best friend, find a friend that is really big on TikTok. Tell them to host your channel. And you're sorted,
That's exactly easy, right. Yeah, easy.
Job done.
Hosts are the secret to Twitch success, obviously.
Exactly. There we go.
I watched a video yesterday. It was the most maddening thing. It had over 100,000 views, and the title was this was a YouTube video. Sorry.
A YouTube video. Okay.
Yes, the title was 3 ways to grow on Twitch. And it was from 2019. Okay. This was from basically a year ago. So it was like July 2019 video. Video was, hey guys, here's 3 tips. I know a lot of people are looking to grow their Twitch these days. Here's 3 tips to grow your Twitch channel. The tips were, don't play a saturated game. I went, ah! Number 2 was pay attention to having a clickable title for your stream. I was like, ah! And number 3, I think it was make sure you're engaging with all comments. with everybody in chat. I was
See,
like,
this would have worked back in 2012, 2016. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure, that kind of thing. But here's the thing, right? Whenever someone focuses on playing a game as their backbone for Twitch, they lose viewers and they switch to another game like that instantly. Switch from Fortnite to Warzone. I see it happen all the time.
Yep.
I see it happen so much that I knew somebody who, I still know them. They play a game. It's a web-based game, browser game. It's like Crunker.io and things like that.
Yeah.
They play that game. Then they switch to another category which I really enjoy, which is art. They go from 50 average viewers down to 10. Like that. Straight away. No, they're there for the game. They're there for the game, that's it. All right? They don't care about what else you got to do. They don't care about you as a content creator.
Yep.
Some of them do. Obviously, the 10 of the 50 still do, obviously. They're sticking around for it. But if you build your brand off of a game, happens if that game has a bad year or a bad season or a bad run, what happens then? You know, we see it happening all the time.
It's happening with Apex right now.
With Apex right now, a lot of content creators are getting really frustrated and upset with the game. They're taking breaks and they're going to other games where they want to reach the same viewership as they did before. You know, basing your brand and your business off of one game, or at least one genre of games, or genres are a bit less, you know.
The less niche you are, the less dangerous it is, but
it's the same thing as like, it's going to be so volatile that you don't know what's going to happen. You're going to have good days, bad days, good days. It's just going to be so chaotic. Whereas
you're putting it outside of your control, even, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many people look outside in, or sorry, inside out, where they go, what do I enjoy? What games do I enjoy? What I can make, rather than looking outside in and going, okay, I enjoy all these different things, but what am I good at? What do I enjoy doing? What is me as a person that I can sell that can bring these views in, that can get people to watch me and not the game?
And it kind of ties back to what we were talking about earlier. It's a very Gary V idea. It's a very Gary V idea that the responsibility, when one takes all the responsibility onto themselves, you say, I am responsible for every success that comes to me. It isn't luck. And I'm responsible for every failure that I encounter. It isn't unluck, or it isn't misfortune. Then it's freeing. It's absolutely freeing, because you realize that
you're in control.
Everything is part of your control.
100%. The good, the bad, the ugly. Everything is under your control. And when I say, sure, you getting into a car accident might not be your control.
Sure.
All right. Yeah, it might be the other driver, but your reaction to said accident, your reaction to the negative that happens in your world, is in your control. You
1,000%.
A dip in viewership. What do? Are you going to mope about it, or are you going to go ahead and work on a new piece of content that can bring in another 100 more viewers to your stream? What do you do? Do you look at it from a perspective of loss or gain? You know, like, I'll give you an example. A friend of mine who recently had an issue, I'm going to bring it up, and I hope they're okay bringing it up. I'm not going to mention any names, but
sure,
they had an issue where they dealt with a client that cheated them out of some money. You know, they cheated them out of some money. They weren't very happy about it. They spent all this time and work learning a new program. They spent time learning, After Effects, Premiere. They learned how to use stream elements and all this stuff. They built these things for this person, and they got cheated out of money because, they did what they did. And they came back and they were talking to me about it, and I said, I feel like I've lost time. Like, I feel like I've lost the time that I could have spent on my own stuff. I feel like I lost time. And I said, you didn't lose anything. You may have lost money, but at the end of the day, money can always, come back in other ways. And I think what you've learned and what you've done is more valuable than money could have been.
Yeah.
Because what you've done is you've learned how to use After Effects, you learn how to use Premiere, you've learned how to use stream elements, you learn how to do all these skill sets that you can now go and apply into your own stuff.
And you learn how to deal with a terrible client.
Exactly. It's give you then kind of like, okay, that's what that guy looks like. I'm not going to go with that person again. I'm going to try this next time to secure myself and protect myself against something like that happening again. You've learned a lesson. You've learned something. You've gained experience, right? And from that perspective, from that kind of change of perspective, like, oh, I've lost time, but instead I've gained a skill. That skill now, they can now go and approach other clients and say, I can do that for you. This is how much I charge.
Exactly. I think video games have skewed how we perceive experience, because I think we think of experience as something you only gain from success, when in reality, I think failure is what or something going not your way.
That's a good deal, you know.
That kind of that really gives you the experience that's useful.
I want like I want a T-shirt with that on there, with like XP plus 1 or 100 or something like that. And from like if somebody loses, it's gonna look like 100 XP. You've learned something here, you know. Like, it's just one of those things where people are so hung up on the end result, and they are so focused on getting it now, getting it quick, and that's kind of the blame of social media again. It's like people that want it instantly, and seeing people online
and
getting
survivorship bias
like that.
and 100%.
But at the same time, like I have a I do kind of use that end goal tactic as a bit of a belief system for like tracking success and kind of using it to kind of push yourself forward an awful lot. So like I mean, like, focusing on like the end goal isn't a bad thing, but it's just how people observe and treat it can be treated better, can be observed better. Absolutely. can be turned around and reconstructed in a way that's like, okay, I want to be successful. Instead of going, I want that, start thinking, I am that. And it's a very change of perspective. It's a very deep change of perspective, because it's okay, well, what would a successful person do at that point? Like, if I was successful today, if I had 1 million subscribers today, what would I do? Honestly, going to ask you now, probably not a lot different. I'd still wake up, I'd still drink coffee, I'd still interact with the people that I interact with, but I would think about business in a different way. I'd still react to getting a negative video or a couple of negative comments in a different way. I would react differently. I would think differently. I would see the world differently. And seeing that world differently through like wearing that suit, so like wear success like a suit, you know, wear it every single day and treat every good and bad thing as an opportunity to react differently to the world from that point in space. And it's just, that works out for you. As I use that analogy all the time, and it's very much a thing that everyone kind of pretty much loves in my stream, which is like they never see it from that angle, you know, thinking of something rather from something. It's a change of perspective. It's very subtle, but it's an effective shift.
And they're like, oh, I get to imagine myself as a successful streamer. Sounds like fun.
Exactly.
So
from that point, but from that, so it's quickly to add, is from that, once you've seen where you are going, it's easier to work backwards from that.
Where
if you see yourself with 1 million subscribers, you know that the next step to do that is to make more videos. You know, the next step to that is to produce videos that are going to be better. So then from there, you can go, to make more videos, I need more time. So what I'll do is I'll reduce my stream time down to 3 days a week, and I'll use that spare time to make and edit videos. I'll actually go on YouTube now and I'll learn about video editing. I'll learn how to use this camera that I've just bought. I'll learn how to use a microphone. I will use my stream time to also make content in, and you completely change the structure in which you make videos, in which you produce content, because you've gone from thinking of wanting to get success to thinking from it. You go, right, from that point, looking back, how do I get there? Well, you just track it backwards. You know, you look backwards from it.
Sounded very familiar, the person you described. Now,
just a little bit.
Where are you? Where's your perspective right now? Where are you looking back from? Where do you want to be?
I'm at the 1 million subscriber thing in my head, but it's one of those things where I don't think of getting 1 million subscribers. Like, I don't think of seeing the million in my head. I think of what I would be doing, and who I'd be talking to, whose hand would I be shaking if I had 1 million subscribers? What kind of experiences would I have if I had 1 million subscribers? What kind of things would I be feeling on a day-to-day basis? You know, like, what kind of, where would I be? Would I be here? Would I be in America? Would I be traveling again? Like, so like from a year now, I already see myself traveling to the next TwitchCon.
Yeah.
You know, if COVID lightens up before then, which I think it will, I've got faith that it will. Yeah. But I do see myself at the next TwitchCon and it being an absolute blast. It may not be as busy as it used to be.
Right.
But I do see myself with my friends shaking hands and having, I see myself having 100K at that point. And I see myself hanging around with my friends with 100K.
Yeah.
At least minimum. And, but I don't put a timestamp to 1 million. I just say, you know what, I'm going to enjoy the process and get there. I'm not going to give myself, I'm going to say, no, not 5 years, not 10 years, not 15 years. I'm just going to say 1 million subs and I'm going to work my butt off for it.
I was going to
give
say,
it a time, a place. I'm just going to enjoy the process of getting to that point. I'm going to enjoy me making a video, seeing it do well, seeing it not do well, and then learn each time.
It's about the journey.
It is about the journey, exactly.
Do you break it down further? I was going to ask. Do you break it down like some days do you look from 100,000 and say and work backwards from there rather than 1 million?
I usually kind of see 1 million, but I know that when I go to TwitchCon in September next year, I will be at 100K. I know. I just, in my gut, I feel it. I believe in it and I don't question it. I just go, you know what? I don't care how I get there. I'm just going to enjoy the process and I'm going to get there.
Well, and you had me run the numbers and
well, there's that as well. But like those numbers can change, you know, I might have an off month, you know, I might have an off, off a year, you know? Yeah. So I don't look at that. I just trust in myself and trust in the thing that I'm doing every single day. And I use it to kind of fuel my what's it called? My passion, my belief, and my kind of thing going forward, you know?
So I cut you off there. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, it's the same thing as hitting partner. It's like, once you get it, it's a journey. It's the process of getting there that you enjoy most on the end of it. Like me getting the check mark, excellent, great. Next week, it's like, oi, how you doing? It's the same. Robin Williams did exactly the same thing when he won an Oscar. It's like for a week, everyone was going, congratulations, well done on the Oscar, congratulations, well done on the Oscar. And then a week later, it's like, hey, Mark! You know, it's just that. It's like, it's that. Once it's done, it's out of the way. What do you do next? Once you hit partner, where is it to go? You know, once you hit partner, where do you go from there? You don't go anywhere. You know, it's very much the ceiling on Twitch, even though it feels. Here's how I kind of see the growth on Twitch. It goes very, very small, slow, and then exponential, and then you're there. Yep. And that's it. Like, there's nothing else aside from that. And sure, there's opportunities on Twitch to do more. But like, once I hit partner, and after a few months, I went, man, I really want to. I'm missing something. You know, I'm not. It isn't as good as I thought it was going to be. You know, the grass isn't always green on the other side for some of these things. And some of these people that are grinding hard to get partner, and I know some of them are out there right now watching and listening that are grinding to get partner, coming from a partner on Twitch. It's not all it's cracked up to be, right?
Sure.
It's not all it's
sunshine and rainbows, right?
It's not sunshine and rainbows. It's not like, oh, once soon as you get partner, it's like, I've known people that got partnered, and the next day they have 20 viewers. It's like, is the check mark really worth it at that point? Is the check mark really worth that? What do you want to be? A Twitch partner or a successful content creator? What's the thing you want? What's the phrase you want? Partner is a small chunk of this, you know. You got to look at the wider picture sometimes and look at like, okay, well, what do I need to do outside of Twitch? And so many people focus so much on Twitch, they leave no time for anything else. You know, you can overwater a seed. You can kill a seed before it has a chance to grow. And so many people kill it and keep doing it and keep, you know, undigging it and digging it back again, checking see if it's grown anymore. And so many people do that. Let it grow, but focus on your other crops as well. Otherwise, you're going to have, like, you know, some are dead, some are alive, some aren't really, you know, water all your plants, water all your crops. Don't overwater one of them, and you'll see that you'll have, like, a good garden to, you know, live from.
I'm somebody who has the luxury of being somebody you talk to a little bit whenever you're burnt out or whenever you've reached a roadblock.
We do have these conversations, don't we? We have, like, yeah. And I like those conversations. We have, like, we do agree on a lot of views. But then sometimes we'll come with some things that we go, well, actually, I don't agree with that one. But it's a nice conversation to have because it really does, it keeps you on your toes.
Yep. We provoke
that
thoughts.
extra perspective is, exactly, yeah. Having that extra perspective is really refreshing.
So what do you do during those times? What do you really do to fight those times where you're discouraged or where you're fighting like, hey, this thing isn't all it's cracked up to be, or I'm burnt out, or this video didn't do as well as I'd hoped, or this person screwed me over? Like, what do you do to fight in those times?
You think from that end goal. That's what I do all the time. You don't think of, if you are struggling and you think you're burnt out, you're like, I'm not built for this, I'm not designed for this, I'm not doing this. You go back and you go forward in time to a point where you've made it. You go forward in time to a point where you are successful and it's all worth it. And then you go, okay, how far is that to where you are now? And understand that time is the biggest discrepancy here, right? That the word patience means something. The word being patient, I think Gary Vee calls it macro patience and micro speed.
Yes.
Knowing that there's 50 years where you can grow and succeed and grow the life that you want to grow, but also understanding that there's 12 hours in a day that you can get stuff done. I nearly swore then, I didn't, but getting stuff done.
Oh, swear as much as you like, by the way.
Okay. There's 12 hours in a day where you can get shit done, right? Yeah. Those 12 hours, do something with them except streaming. Like, there's more to this content than streaming, right? Spend those 12 hours doing something, yeah, but then understanding that it's going to take 50 years of that to get somewhere that you are happy with. Or it could be short, it could be 10, 20, it could be any number of time that you deem like is long enough for you to kind of work at it. I'd say minimum 10 years to start seeing actual physical results, in my opinion. That's kind of my own thought process, but that's another thing. But like 12 hours over 20 years, 10 years, 30 years, whatever, is the benchmark. You have to understand that's micro speed, macro patience. Yep. Understanding that, once you understand that, that's where you have to be. But always think to that end goal and go, okay, where do I want to be in 10 years time? Okay. And literally sink into it like a cushion, like melt into the feeling of what it would be like to be at that point, right? Remember it and then believe in it, because that belief in you and belief in what you are doing is so vital to continue going forward, that so many people fail at it because they don't see past their immediate response or reaction to what's happening. Is if they look forward just a little bit and go, understand that this probably happened to Michael Jordan, to Kobe, to Harris, to Sam, if you're somebody else. This happened to Casey, it's happened to Peter McKinnon. It's happened to content creators that are massive now. It took years to get here, right?
Yeah.
It's happened to them. Don't think that you're any different to them. They're still human. They're still flesh and blood. They still have the same inner workings as you. And then when you have those moments where you feel like I can't do it or I feel unmotivated, think of how they felt and how they got through it. Think of how you will get through it by focusing on that end goal and thinking from it and planning logically, kind of subsiding your emotional reaction and going, okay, what would I do from here? If this happened to me in the future, what would happen? That kind of reaction is what's going to dictate how successful you are.
Exactly right. And I don't think there's anything besides death that's too difficult to overcome. Yeah, that can stop you. It's 100%.
There's no, yeah.
I do think there's a definite, we do definitely need to continue, especially in America, to continue to fight inequality of opportunity. But at the same time, people think to themselves like, man, I have severe ADHD. Maybe I have severe depression. I've got a bad family life, or I don't have access to good internet, or however big or small the obstacle might be that says that's going to keep me from being successful. And that's what I really love about when creators share their stories. Harris doesn't talk about it very often, but he has Asperger's. and he's overcome Asperger's to become, he's overcome a social disability, if you will, and become a social media icon despite it, or because of it in some ways. Like, he's used it to his advantage in other ways, and so I don't think there's anything that can really, when people dial in exactly what they want out of life, I don't think there's anything besides the Grim Reaper that can keep you from reaching that. From
death himself.
Yeah.
Exactly. I just think, like, I have a bit of a different viewpoint on this, and it's not so much like, I know there are medical conditions, and I know there's, proper diagnosis and treatment for this, and I genuinely think, like, if you are suffering with the things that people have you mentioned, like depression, and they've got conditions that need treatment, sure, get the treatment, feel better in yourself, feel confident. But I don't think that a limitation is a limitation that only you set for yourself. That it can be overcome, through the right steps and the right means and the right kind of goals that you would set for yourself. You can overcome those personal issues, personal hurdles, those personal kind of like that kind of like box you put yourself in. You can get out of it. Limitations are limitations that you set for yourself, and if you feel depressed, you feel down, you suffer from anxiety and all that, just know that you are in control of that feeling, because it's only you are doing, like, only you are creating that environment for yourself, because you are giving yourself that information. Obviously, go through the right treatment, go through the right steps to kind of make yourself feel better. But I genuinely believe that people, even with those conditions, have so much power and strength to be able to, even more so those people that have that kind of emotions and those kind of situations, that they have even more powerful of a reason to actually prove themselves right. And I think that is that's the thing people need to kind of understand. These limitations are only limitations that you set for yourself.
Through fire, steel is forged, is what I say. Yeah. I love that.
Exactly. That's a pretty good one.
So, what fires have you overcome, Sam? What's held you back that you've really knocked out of the park?
How long have you got?
As long as you want, buddy.
But like,
I'll get you a couch. I'll lay you out.
Yeah, sure thing. I'll get a notebook. I'll lie down on a couch. Therapy session time.
Here we go.
Went through a lot of like my own personal torment of like, a lot of people don't know that I used to suffer from heavy depression myself. I used to really think bad of myself for a long time, and I think we've all gone through a period of like self-doubt, self-worth, like, are we really good at what we do, yada yada yada. But like genuine like feelings of, does anyone like me, kind of, that kind of like that environment your brain develops for itself, where, and I don't think it was more so the people that I was around, but I kind of like for a while I felt like that, but then something changed in my brain. I can't remember physically what it was, but like one day I just said F it. F people's opinions, F what people think of me, kind of thing. And I was just like, you know what? It was what people thought of me really brought me down, and I was worried about hurting people's feelings. And then after a while, I was like, if I hurt somebody's feelings, then they don't know who I am, kind of thing. Like,
exactly right.
It was one of those things where, like,
so true, man.
I started to treat myself as a I question so much stuff, and I put myself through my own fire, and got into relationships that didn't work out. And
put it lightly.
Exactly, yeah. One of them was the catalyst for me getting back into YouTube and into Twitch. One of them really was that, because I had a relationship, didn't end well, and it really made me think. It was 5 years. 5 years is a long time to be in a relationship for, and when it ends that badly, you do become to question your purpose, your place, your points. Like, what was it a lie? What am I, where am I going? What's the thing? You do kind of feel like, the yellow brick road went up underneath your feet, and you're now stuck in like a desert or a forest or whatever. And you just stood there aimlessly thinking, what can I do? And after a while, I realized that my passion still lied in making videos, making Twitch stuff, doing design stuff. And I went back into that passion, and that fire really helped forge me into somebody that I personally think I'm stronger for it. And I personally feel like I'm a better person for getting through that period of my life where you just go, you know, you feel like everything's crumbling around you, really. You know, my business wasn't do so well. And I think that experience really kind of made me go, you know what, you're not happy. You know, stop doing this shit. You're not happy. Do something that's going to make you happy. Do this. And I had no money, right? I had no thing that I was leaving the Yogscast at this point, and like I was in a really bad place financially and emotionally, and I still put through it. And I saw what I wanted to be. I just made Twitch affiliate. I said to myself, I'm going to be Twitch partner within a year. I got affiliated in February, right? A year later, I was partnered. So that just shows you, when you think from the point of view and the perspective of where you want to go, instead of thinking of an achievement, when you work hard and you put the steps in to be able to make it real, it will work and it will happen. But like, without that initial fire and that initial kind of, I guess, kick up the ass, I wouldn't be here, you know, talking to you right now, at least, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
You know, I wouldn't be here by extension.
Exactly.
I got a little welled up. I got emotional hearing you talk about that. Hearing you talk about your story. Yeah. I was like trying to wipe my eyes there.
The thing is, we've spoke before, and I think we have very similar
indeed
backstories in kind of our entry into content creation and making it more of like a full-time thing, and it is one of those things where, like, I guess it's one of those fight or flight kind of situations where you can fight where you are and you can keep going down, or you can fly to new heights. It's just an interesting way of approaching situations. And that fire makes or breaks people, and sometimes it makes them, sometimes it breaks them. It's just, you know, it's a very interesting thing that happens.
I told you a while ago, I said I wanted you to save a story for me for the podcast. So I want you to tell everybody how you got your job at the Yogscast.
Okay. Again, it kind of relates to the whole idea of seeing where you want to go. It's where is the end goal? What do you want to do? What do you want to experience in life that you'd like to experience? You know, that kind of feeling of entering into a perspective and a mindset that would be cool and be fun and enjoyable, and then kind of bringing it back and then just leaving it, letting it rest, and then carrying on doing what you would normally do. So this was like 2017. No, when was it? 2018. 2018. Apologies. 2018. End of 2018. Around about, I want to say August time. I was watching a Yogscast stream. No, I was watching a Yogscast video at the time, and I was watching a video of a tour going on about the new studio they just moved into. And I was watching it, and I was just like, man, I'd love to get to that studio. I'd love just to go into the lobby, just to take a picture of the sign there, like a metallic Yogscast sign in the lobby that lit up. And I would love to go up there, and I'd love to take a picture of that and just, you know, put it on social media, put it on Instagram. I think I still actually have the picture on my phone. While I'm telling the story, I'll see if I can actually find it.
You should send it to me, and I'll overlay it on the YouTube video. For sure.
Yeah, I've just found it.
Damn, that was fast.
I searched the location; it came straight away.
Wow.
But I had a moment when I imagined me taking the picture. I think it was like before I fell asleep at night. I remember taking the picture and posting on social media and tagging, like, or typing in, like, guess where I just was, or something like that. And I was like putting it on Twitter, and I imagined seeing the likes come in and the feeling of like, oh my gosh, where have you been? Like, how did you get there, kind of thing, and seeing my friends' comments and on Facebook and on Instagram and all that. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, that's a pretty cool feeling to have. And I was like, all right, cool. And I just felt it like that. I left it. Round about November time. Actually, no, yeah, end of November time.
So this would have been 2017.
Yes, it would have been, 2017. So this would have been 2017. Yes, you're right. Around November time, I get an email through my... So what I had done is I had submitted a thing for the Yogscast, so you could like submit your like a reel in or whatever to get on their books, you know. And I was like, okay, cool. Then we'll say like 1,000 of these you know, people on the books. Like, that's fine. You know, if everything comes up, everything comes up. I submitted like a year ago, by the way. Like, it was like a year ago before I actually imagine that. Anyway, November comes around. I get an email from the same email that I sent it in. I was like, hey, Sam, we have actually a job opening that we'd like to talk with you about. With the Yogscast. Are you free to come down? Like, it was like beginning probably mid-December, actually, probably. Are you ready to come down in like the beginning of January when it comes down? I was like, yeah, sure, I'll drive down to Bristol. Bristol's where the studios are, where the headquarters are. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. And I was in shock. You know, I had a meeting in January with them. I actually remember the end of December, it was. And then I had a thing in Manchester. And then, you know, anything else would happen. I did an interview and all that. And went really well. I thought it went really, really well. I enjoyed, you know, it was a really good conversation. And I spoke about, I knew the content really well. I knew the Oxford, and I walked through the studios, walked through it all. And on my way out, the sign was there. And without even thinking, I took a picture, went out, and I put it on Instagram, and then it hit me. It hit me like a ton of bricks what was happening. That I had imagined this exact same thing 3-4 months before. Right? That I would be tweeting and putting up this picture on Instagram for my friends, for, you know, the people that followed me at the time to see. It happened exactly the same way I imagined it. It was by the way, the picture that was in my head was exactly the one that I imagined like months before. And I got the job, by the way. I was apparently the one that was according to an email that was sent to me, I was leading the entire thing. I was the one at the top. I was the number one for it all. And then from my interview to when I got the job, I was thinking, I got this. I believed in I trusted my abilities. I trusted who I was. I trusted the fact that I was professional, that I was on a job, that I had work coming in, and that like I had all of that. And I believed in it, and I got the job. And like, I have the picture. I'll have to send it to you what it looked like. But like, that picture was exactly as I imagined it in my head, and that is the story.
People are going to call you a bullshitter, by the way, because
I can swear. I can swear on my life. I also did the same thing with getting partner, by the way.
Yep. Manifest.
So I said I'm going to get partnered within a year. And then my friend kept on telling me, my friend Nick said, it's going to be quite hard for you to get partnered within a year. Like, I've been streaming for a while now, and I haven't got partnered within a year, or partnered with streaming for 4 years, and I haven't said I'm still not partnered. And I went, okay, cool. I ignored him. I ignored him, and I went, I'm going to do it. And I got affiliate around
February, you said?
I think I got January, February time. I can't quite remember. I have to look at the analytics, but then I got partnered in February. So roughly a year later. I think a year to when I said I'm going to get partnered. So I got affiliated and I said I'm going to get partnered within a year. So I think it was roughly to the day.
Yeah.
When I got partnered. It was very weird. But
Twitch knew ahead of time in October. They were like, no. It hasn't been a year yet. We gotta wait.
Exactly. But like, I walked through a bridge of incidents that occurred. I met Harris. I started doing videos to the Alpha Gaming channel. Like, honestly, people might call it lucky, but I don't think it was. I think it was maybe to say by design in some way. But like, I met Harris, and that that bridge led me to be able to get partnered within a year. If I hadn't met Harris and started working with him, out of all the people that could have started working with Harris, he picked me.
Yep.
Right. He needed an editor. I needed work. He fit the bill. And that kind of bridge led me to get to where I was today. And I genuinely don't think it was anything. I don't think it was luck. I genuinely think it was like my own thoughts went out there and created something in some weird way.
People like to attribute,
Harris, you know,
right? People like to attribute when they say, "Oh, Sam, you were in the right place at the right time." They like to attribute that to chance. When in fact, you were looking for the right place and you were doing it all the time. So eventually you were going to be at the right place at the right time, you know? Yes. Opportunities you don't go 60 years without an opportunity. Just doesn't happen.
I think luck is preparation meets opportunity. That's
Exactly.
the definition of luck. But luck is preparation meets opportunity, and that's all luck is. And I don't think people can attribute luck to business either. You know,
Right.
Yeah, I got lucky with, but I could have got fired from now to like.
Of course, anything could happen.
You know, if Harris wouldn't have believed in my skills, or I didn't believe in my own skills, like I could have. If I wasn't very good, Harris wouldn't have kept using me or kept hiring me and paying me to edit his videos. So it's not so much a luck thing. I think it generally is a skill set, hard work thing, and it kind of things falling into place, right time.
Exactly. Gary V says there's like a 1 in 4 trillion chance that you're alive right now, because of the crazy, the tiny chance that there's even life on Earth, combined with the tiny chance that you are the sperm that fertilized the egg to the point that you survived till childbirth, and you survived to this
chance
point.
That you were the fastest swimmer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But like,
I was the best at everybody was the best at something. One time in their life, one time in their existence, at least.
Exactly. But it's one of those things where like, I've lost track of my train of thought now. For that
That's okay.
What was going with this conversation?
It's just that there's no such thing as luck, because you're already lucky.
Yeah.
You're the luckiest.
You're the luckiest person alive because you're born.
Because you were born.
I think that was what it was. I think the odds are 400 trillion to 1.
Yeah, 400 trillion to 1 sounds right. Something like that.
I think those are the odds. It may have gone up. It may have gone down. I don't know scientifically what the.
Really, if you get deep enough, it's astronomical. It's like inconceivably small that existence even is a thing that happens. But here we are. So let's shave luck off and say, well, we're already the luckiest. We're literally the luckiest beings to ever live.
Exclude luck and now get to work. Kind of thing,
get to work.
You gotta get lucky to grow on Twitch or on YouTube. You gotta be lucky to. Oh. You know what that is? That's an excuse to be lazy.
Excuse.
That's my genuine. It's my genuine thought, and
Wipe
the idea
your hands.
that like, I genuinely think that if you say, oh, you gotta be lucky to grow on Twitch, or you gotta be lucky to get this XYZ, or you gotta be what's the other one? You got to be. I don't have the right gear.
Yeah.
I don't have the right this. My video's gonna be perfect. I'm like, get out of here.
Yeah.
Just start doing stuff. Stop making excuses for making things, and just get over it. I can't succeed on Twitch because this so and so's person streaming. It's an excuse to not do more. It's you're lazy.
Great example of that. I went out about a year ago last month. I bought my first camera. I bought a G7.
Oh yeah.
And then in March, thanks to your help and your recommendations, I bought a GH5.
The same camera that I'm using right now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And so I've now spent like something like more than $2,000 on camera equipment, all that. My best performing YouTube video by a kind of a large margin is a video I recorded on my Brio from over a year ago. It's not about the gear. People don't watch
P. McKinnon for the cameras he uses. Sure, he's a photographer and he gives you good skills to use a camera, but don't watch him because he uses like a particular camera.
That's right. His videos were 1080p taken with an iPhone. He would still have the skills he has and what he shows off and the personality and the content.
The best person I can attest to this is Casey.
Neistat.
Right? Casey Neistat's videos aren't the great production value, but the value is acquired and displayed in other areas except for gear. Mm-hmm. Like he shot with 70Ds, which if you look at now, it's very dated footage.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. And the gear that he was using, the place that he was using, the kind of shots, a lot of his stuff doesn't live to the standards that the bar is constantly rising, and it went straight under. But you still watch them because they're a good story.
That's right.
The value is present outside of the gear that he uses. Mm-hmm. Story is king always. The content is king always. It doesn't matter what camera you use. You can use these things. Phones. Everyone's got them with a 4K camera in there, right? And like, you can use them. You can get a cheap mic off of Amazon. You can get this phone, and you can get a Rode Lav mic that plugs straight into this, and you can record YouTube videos on your phone, and it's $50. That mic
That's right. And I've seen videos with that exact setup have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views because the content was king.
It's an excuse. It's an excuse. It's an excuse to not make videos, to not do content. It is just a way people can go and delay because it's a self-esteem issue at the end of the day. It's self-esteem. They're not confident. They don't feel like they're confident, or it might be just that they are doing it and they're not getting anywhere, and they're trying to find a reason as to why that's outside of themselves. You know, and again, accountability. Take accountability. You have control. You know.
That's not to say that it's not okay to enjoy production value. I know
for sure. No, absolutely no. Like, I mean, I love watching 4K footage. It's beautiful. You know.
As somebody who uploads all his videos in 4K 60, and you have an A7S III in the mail, like, we're definitely people.
I have an 8. You know, I'm looking to upgrade my content, but the gear is a cog in the wheel of that.
That's right.
It's not the full. You know, everything has a spot for it, and if you need to have, you know, more cogs to drive the main wheel at some point, you know, you might need, you know, a camera that isn't as great as, you know, what we've got right here. You know, maybe using this camera, you know, you have a cheaper ring light or a cheaper key light, and you have a lav microphone that's used for, you know, your videos. It doesn't matter. You can start somewhere, and you have to be okay with understanding that. Again, it comes down to patience. Patience is a key, where you understand, like, this is just a starting point. There's going to be another 10 years where you can make money and upgrade your gear. So don't let this kind of be your ball and chain to stop you from getting into making videos.
Patience, perseverance, and hard work.
Yep, the three things, you know, sugar, spice, everything nice kind of thing. You
That's
know?
right. That's right. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So where do you see Alpha Gaming going, with your help, especially? Harris has been talking recently about upping the brand. I don't know if you guys will keep the Alpha Gaming name for long. I imagine gaming will probably be stripped.
I don't know.
And probably some kind of shift in branding.
The way the industry's going, I mean, we'll see. I don't know what Harris has got planned. I've got no idea. Like I'm very much still on the editing side of things, and still, you know, I do get some insights. We have conversations about all the stuff and the plans for the channel, but I don't really. He has things brewing in his head that I don't have access to. So
sure,
what he has planned for the channel is kind of like his personal thing. But like, I think honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if I see Alpha Gaming gone in the next 5 years or the next 10 years. But something else taking its place.
Exactly.
You know, where both Harris and I are still working together. We're still making content. We're still doing things. We're still pushing the boundaries on whatever it is. You know, Twitch might not be here in 5 years. I mean, the way they're going right now, I don't think they will be. But that's a different story. But they're pushing buttons, and they're not pushing the right ones for sure. They will. I think there'll come a time where Alpha Gaming evolves, and whatever it evolves into, I think Harris and I working together is going to be a continued thing, because I love working with the guy. He's an awesome dude, you know, and like. He texted me today something that he wants to start doing in the videos, and it was something that I had came up with for my own videos for my channel. I was like, wait a minute, I said that I'm doing this for my own stuff like soon. He's like, I think we're becoming the same person. So like as a team, we are working together so well that like we come up with ideas, and like we have like these moments where we go like, you're thinking about that thing, aren't you? I'm thinking about that thing. I'll do it. And like we both have these moments of like, you know, creative, like we're on the same wavelength all the time, and it's like, and I don't think that level of like work relationships / friendship kind of thing should really be you know, left to go on, you know, untapped,
right.
kind of, you know, and push to extremes. And I think like and whatever Alpha Gaming becomes in the next 10-15 years, or you know, even longer than that, even shorter than that, I think it's going to be we want to see it grow beyond just a YouTube channel
about streaming,
and I think
more like
streaming, exactly. And I want to see more, you know, like my channel, I'm expanding, you know, and I think that's like, again,
it's always the end goal,
going beyond stuff.
Now, there'll be an empire, you know, but first First you start with the kingdom, or first you start with the county.
Start with the county, then you start working towards, you have your plot of land, and then soon you just, you grow it and you start covering more things. You do really, really well, and you know what you're doing. So, and above all else, I'm excited. I'm excited to go and see what happens.
I think Kenzie's jealous of the relationship you two have.
I don't know about that. I'm not having a kid with the guy, so.
At this rate, Alpha Gaming is your child.
That's true. You're not wrong. I've always said I'm married to my own work.
Yep.
An awful lot. I don't know if and that's
Dude, I
kind
said
of
that
the
about you the other day. I said that about you. Somebody asked me. I was talking about somebody, and I was telling them a little bit about the story. I said we both come from a similar background. A little bit about we both had relationships that turned us into work monsters that became kind of and somebody said, wait, Sam is single? And I said, oh well, I wouldn't say he's single, I would say he's married to his work.
You're not wrong. Totally. You're not wrong at all. I am definitely married to my work. It's the only thing that's not let me down. To be fair, it's the only thing that hasn't cheated me. So, I can let myself down, but then I forget myself afterwards. So it's just.
Hasn't gone to anybody else. Hasn't cheated on me.
No. Nope.
Oh my God.
Nope.
Dude, I'm lightheaded.
Comes to bed with me every night.
Think about it every night as I go to sleep. Think about it every day when I wake up.
Hooking my 100k YouTube play button. Yep. No.
You've got quicker wit than I think you give yourself credit for.
I do have quick wit.
That British dry wit. That's very Frasier or
say right now, but I'm not going to say it.
British,
anyway, moving on.
Okay, back to what we were talking about. What were you going to say before I told you
the thing is you laughing about all of this, but Noah gets it. What I was talking about, being married to your work and because it doesn't let you down. It's it genuinely is. I think when you come from that kind of place of really bad heartbreak, you trust in yourself a lot more in terms of okay, I'm not going to let anything else get me to that point. And you find comfort in the work that you do. You find you find passion, and you find courage and all that in the work that you do. And you put your heart and soul into that instead, because it won't let you down. It won't hurt you that way. And it's a sad thing about it, but it is very true.
Exactly. 1,000%. So, and I wouldn't say it's sad necessarily. Obviously it's sad that, we don't have special people in our life.
It's sad. I think it's sad that they got to that point that it required you to go through heartbreak to do that.
Yep.
Rather than finding it yourself. But I think there's that kind of, it's bittersweet, I think, in the sense that it ended this, but it also started this.
Yeah. For sure. I would not, if I had, first of all, if I were still in that toxic relationship, I would be in a very, very toxic place right now. But also, I would never have given Twitch a serious shot. Me too. I was doing some Twitch content. I was doing speed runs back then, every once in a while. And I was doing some YouTube. I think that YouTube channel, I have still more videos on that YouTube channel than the rest of my channels combined. And it has fewer than 30.
Is this your 12th YouTube channel now that you've got?
My 9th. I'm on 9 YouTube channels. Total.
I saw on Twitter today there's a gentleman that made, I think it was 8 YouTube channels that all got to 100,000 subscribers.
Yes, his name is
he has a Guinness World Record now for that.
Oh, what's his name? It's Gaming Curios. Jeremy Curios is his name.
How many was it?
I think he's up to 8 successful channels now, and now he's building a 9th. I think.
Yeah.
I think he's building a 9th.
And you know what I read when I first saw that? I thought, Noah. The next Noah.
Yes!
The next Noah. I thought Noah. As soon as I read that, I thought, oh no, it's Noah.
Yeah, he was on Devin Nash's show recently.
Oh, was he really?
Yes, that's how I discovered him. That's how I know who he is. He talked about this game.
I saw a tweet today or yesterday. I can't quite remember. but it's reminded me of you.
Yep. I'm on.
Yeah.
My very first YouTube channel. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I don't think I've ever really told some of these stories. My very first YouTube channel. I think I was 13. My cousin Jonah, who some like OGs of my stream might know, my cousin Jonah and I really wanted to. We were actually kind of inspired by that Nickelodeon show iCarly.
Yeah.
We were like, hey, maybe it's really that easy, these days.
I think that
maybe the opportunities.
A beginning point for many people, that TV show.
Ironically, yeah, because it kind of hit at just the right time where it was like, hey, the opportunity to really do something like this is actually like on the horizon. Like it's very soon, and if not now. And that was, almost 10 years ago now, or more than 10 years ago now. And so we were like, well, let's just, I've got a laptop with a webcam on it. Let's just hit record, post it on this YouTube thing, and see what happens. And see what fun we can have, right? And so I didn't, even though I had Windows Movie Maker, I didn't know how to use it. So we would just hit record and go off the cuff, and whatever we recorded, we posted to YouTube. And I started a different YouTube channel with another cousin. And my mom found out I was doing YouTube and was like, listen, there are people on the internet that that are bad people.
Same conversation. Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know about
internet.
You putting your face on the internet is kind of weird. And I was like, yeah, I guess you're right. And so then some years passed. In high school, or after high school, I started to do Twitch streams, and I started posting some Twitch streams to YouTube. And I didn't want my parents interrupting my streams or really even knowing that I streamed very much. And so it was during the summer, I would wait until like 1 a.m. to turn on my stream, and then I would do a speed run. And I had my webcam up. I didn't have any of my lights on. And so I was lit by my monitor, my TV screen, and I was whispering because I didn't want to wake anybody up because my parents' room was like just across the hall from me. And I'm literally whispering, "Did you see that?" And then I had that YouTube channel for years, posted way more videos than I have on this current YouTube channel. And it got, I think it crossed 30 subscribers, and that's it. And so I think total I went through, then I started in college a YouTube channel with my buddy, my friend Schubler, that did, we went hard as a mofucker for like 2 months and got, I think, 17 subscribers. And so I was like, maybe this YouTube thing isn't for me. And so I was like, but Twitch kind of seems cool. And then I go over to Twitch and I start watching Harris, and he's like, well, the best way to grow on the best way to grow on Twitch is a YouTube channel. I'm like, son of a bitch. I can't escape this YouTube thing.
You didn't want to hear.
Yeah, exactly. So here I am ever since.
Yeah, me too. And I think I knew that before watching Harris. This is a weird thing. Like,
sure,
I knew that growing a YouTube channel would give me more viewership on Twitch. I just knew it. I don't know why. Like, it made sense to me because I guess because I knew the platform more, because I was with the Yogscast, for a bit of time. I knew the strategies involved behind that, maybe a little bit. It felt very much like I knew that strategy before going into Twitch, and so I started making more. I did my first video on my channel that I ever did was a Twitch. Well, it was actually Twitch highlight stuff, and then I decided I did that, and then about a month or so later, I went, I don't want to do Twitch highlights, and I changed it, and I did tutorial stuff, and it was a forum at Harris, so I unlisted that video, and then started doing tutorial stuff, and I made my first Twitch alerts video, which is, I think, is close to. One of my videos is close to 100k views right now. It's the first one I've like one of my I think it's a Shroud alerts video is nearly at 100k. It might be at 100k now. Actually, I haven't checked in a few days, but it might very well be at 100,000 views, which is going to like impress me a lot. Which is going to make me feel very proud because like, holy crap, one of my views is 100k, and it's very crazy to think that.
No kidding. Think about 100,000 people. Think about a stadium full of 100,000 people watching you make alerts for that are based in shrouds.
That's creepy to think about.
I think about that shit nonstop. Nonstop. When I ever, especially if I'm ever having like if I ever need a dose of realism or like a get brought back to earth, I'll think like wake up call. Yeah, I'm like, man, my videos just aren't doing as well as I'd hoped. I'm like, yeah, but like 200 people is a lot of people to see my stuff and appreciate my stuff. Or if I think about how I'm about to cross like 1,000 followers on Twitch, like 1,000 people. I don't know 1,000 people, but 1,000 people have seen me and said, this guy's worth my time. That's humbling. That is humbling, let alone, 100,000 people, So, and it's just all about that perspective, right? And so keeping real in that sense, keeping the realistic view of that while also striving for more and more, always.
Yep. Absolutely. I agree.
Man, you're about to cross 100,000 views on a video. That's fucking awesome, dude.
I know, yeah. And I'm close to 40k subscribers on YouTube as well.
You're very close. I'm
reaching that.
You've doubled your subscribership in since June, or since May. You were at 20. You crossed 20,000 not that long ago.
I'm going to look at the end of the year. I think I'm going to look. I think YouTube do this, but I could be wrong. But don't YouTube usually send it like a?
I think so. Kind of like a progress report or like a year in review or something like that.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah,
I think so. I think that'd be a cool thing to look at, especially if you share with us. That's gonna be so cool. That's gonna be so cool because it's gonna be
because how many subs you earned over a year.
Where were you in January? Like 15,000, 10,000, maybe 10,000. I remember you crossing
4,000.
You were only at 4,000 in January.
One second. I think actually my friend Scott sent me this picture.
Oh my god!
It was me texting him. It was me. So on the 15th of March, I had 4,020 subscribers.
The 15th of March, you had 4,020.
Well, it says here 02/15/2020, so I'm guessing 2nd of March.
02/15 would be February.
15th of March. Oh, 15th of February, sorry.
That's okay.
I thought 02 March.
Holy shit.
15th of February is 4,000 subs.
I have to, I really love hearing when people grow really quickly. Because it's
the month thing, by the way. You Americans make that more difficult than it is. All right, it's your own fault.
It's really not that hard. But for you, it'd be 15 to 2020, wouldn't it?
That's why I was thinking 15. I don't know why third was in there. But
maybe because 3 plus 12 would be 12 being a year would be plus 3 would be March. Do you think? I don't know how your brain did weird math. Hearing people grow, hearing people explode with growth is always super inspiring because because obviously you want to have the patience to say, okay, where am I going to be in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? But you also can realistically think about okay, well, when I think about where I could be in 3 months, where I think about Scott in June, I have more followers now than Scott had in July, and Scott has now doubled my followers on Twitch. So I've
that
now.
Might be my fault though. To be honest, that might be my fault slightly.
Right, but an opportunity like the one you gave him could come to me at any time. Really, realistically, it could come tomorrow. If I'm prepared for it, it could come tomorrow. It's never too early. It's never too late. Growth could happen. I don't lean into it too much because it can become toxic, because then you're hoping oh, well, I guess, well, tomorrow's the day I blow up. When that's, you don't want to get unrealistic with it, but looking at it realistically, and within just a very short period of time, you hit the exponential curve, right? We talked about how its growth is exponential,
Yeah.
And I told Scott when he barely crossed 1,000 followers, I said, listen, man, the hardest part of takeoff is getting off the ground.
Is the launch, yeah, exactly.
Is the launch, right?
Really
A plane is on a runway for a really long time, but as soon as it's off the ground, it just starts raising and raising and raising and raising, and then the sky is the limit, right? And so once you're off the ground, man, and you could take off the ground, just about any time. You keep the hard work, you keep the perseverance. It's only, in fact, I would say, a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. Yeah, and that's the kind of shit I keep trying to tell people who are thinking about.
I think this entire podcast can be summarized in one word, and it's patience. And I think it's one word that every content creator, there's a few out there that have got it figured out, that know what they're doing. But man, oh man, so many problems can be solved if people just had patience for it. When it came to figuring out what kind of content you should make. Patience, don't worry about it. You will find it.
The realm of content,
the
realm of content is made of instant gratification. But to be successful, it takes fighting that urge and fighting that culture to actually push through and find success in it. So,
you've got years to grow a channel. You don't have weeks or months or a couple of hours. You have years. You have years to grow. The growth I've had now is I'm grateful for. I'm happy for, and I'm only seeing up and up.
That's right.
The stuff that I've done in the past, the stuff that I'm going to do in the future is put my channel in a really nice position to continue that growth. But at the same time, I know it's going to take me a little bit longer to get to where I want to be.
Sure.
I might get to 100k in July next year, January, or even as I go to TwitchCon in November, it might hit 100k. It might take me another year to get to 100k. I don't know. We will see, but the thing is, though, I know that the only way I can get to 100k is if I post content. And honestly, at the end of the day, subscribers on YouTube don't matter as much as they used to.
Sure. Absolutely.
It's the engagement, the views, and getting your views out there. Somebody can have a 600k view video, but only have 100 subscribers.
Yeah.
Or 1,000 subscribers. Views and subscribers don't correlate anymore.
Sure.
So the main reason I want to get to 100k is for one, I like the plaque.
Sure. You want a second one, you greedy motherfucker.
Exactly. But it became one of those things where it's one of those things where 100k, I did it. Where I'm doing it, I'm working towards it. It's a bit like Harris with the Tesla.
Sure. Yeah. When he talks about that.
It's you've worked hard for this. Enjoy this reward. I
think of it
too.
I
think that is, and my channel is one of those channels that is a perfect example of being able to do something on your own without having the influence of. Harris can't grow my channel for me.
Right. Absolutely.
P. McKinnon can't grow my channel for me. It's these things where other people can't grow what I'm building for me. I have to do it myself, and it's a good thing for me to look at and go, I'm doing this right now. This is my thing, my channel, my experiences, my documentation, my processes, my stories are going on this channel. And I had a bit of a thing the other day where I was trying to figure my next video, and it hit me. I was like, why don't you just make what you want to make? Don't think so deeply into the videos. Think of a story of what you want to do and make it. Don't worry about what people are going to think. If people are really going to enjoy your content, they're going to enjoy it for you and what you're doing, what you're teaching, what you're saying. And then I randomly watched a video by Peter McKinnon, and I was going to again, these things happen really weirdly, and I have to kind of explain this, but I was in that moment where I was I'm struggling what I want to put on my channel. What video can I do next that's going to be valuable? It's going to be impactful, something like this and this. And then I watched a Peter McKinnon video, which is he was talking about how he just put up a lot of EDC content, a lot of knives and wallet stuff, and people are going to go, there's a lot of this content. Where are the photo tutorials, dude? Where are all? This is a photography channel. Sure. Where's all this stuff? Why is this being on the channel? And it's this is the Peter McKinnon channel. You know, I'm gonna put on stuff about EDC. I'm gonna put stuff on about notebooks. I'm gonna put stuff on about wallets. I want to put stuff on about XYZ. I'm gonna be the root of it, and photography, and for me, it's editing and motion graphics and design and all that, and
that's just what I love.
And videography. It's my roots. I'm not going to leave that. I'm not going to forget about that. But I also want to try to creatively experiment with my own stuff. Mm-hmm. And that's
share
the joy
more
that
of what I love.
And it hit me the day. I was like, you know, I'm going to do that.
I'm really happy to hear that, by the way. I'm really excited for where you're going to take, especially when I was worried. My biggest worry for you was that you would see like a viewership dip. And instead, we see the opposite. I think you're growing faster now that you're starting to find yourself more. Yeah. And I think that makes me really freaking excited for your YouTube channel, especially now that you've got Scott on board.
Me too. Yeah, exactly. Scott's been awesome. Scott's been a really a valuable part in letting me kind of like without the editing side. I don't say burdening me down, but I've been editing for 10 years. I don't need to do any more editing. Like, I don't need any more. I know the craft. I can pick up anything, and I can pick up anything, and I can go for it. You know, I don't need to be.
You're kind of. It's kind of like whenever it's like a general doesn't necessarily have to be shooting people. It's a weird analogy, I guess. But you've been a soldier. You've been in the trenches for a long time. You know, it's a Devin Nash kind of analogy. You've been in the trenches for quite a long time. Taking a step back and doing direction. I think you've earned that. And I think it's a good
opportunity for me to teach somebody else.
Yeah.
And pass on what I know and what I've learned from the people.
Yeah, because you won't make that master class.
Exactly. Yeah. But like, it's that thing of like, I could spend that time, putting better effort into better things. Like I don't need to edit a video, and I had to edit video, and I can make the video look good. But that editing takes time to make it look good. I could rather spend more time focusing on the actual story of the video and giving it to somebody else, let them cut it down, and then me work on the next one. So I'm optimizing my time to focus on better prioritize my thing and delegating delegating the things.
But if you're watching this right now, this is not permission necessarily to go out and hire an editor just because you think you need an editor.
If you start your channel within a week, I recommend leaving it for another 12 months before finding an editor.
At least.
And actually, at least a year. I'd say 2 years minimum, actually. 2 years minimum.
2 years is good.
Because it's like going to a restaurant. Okay, making content like going to a restaurant for the first time, you've never been there before, and trying to order off a menu and not know what the hell what the flavors are. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, this is a good analogy.
And you go, I'm going to try a bit of this. You try it, you don't like it. Right? You don't like this, you don't like this, you don't like this, you don't like this. Okay, cool, but I do like this, I do like this, I do like this. If you don't try, the stuff that you are wanting to other people to cook for, to do, then how do you recommend the dishes on the menu if you haven't tried it yourself? Like, it's that kind of thing of like, I don't like people jumping into the deep end and buying and hiring an editor straight out the gate if they don't know what their content is.
That's exactly
and you
right.
and I both know we've spoken to people that have done that, and it's backfired on them because like they don't know what the hell they're doing themselves, let alone trying to tell somebody else.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like, it's kind of like, how do I describe it? It's kind of like, you're trying to learn what you're doing so that you can be in a direct, like you would never have a director that doesn't know how to direct, right? And you would never for me, I would never ask somebody to do something that I don't feel like I can do myself. And so I would never, like, especially when it's something creative that I'm putting my heart and soul into, I would never delegate off of something creative when I don't know what I want or when I don't know what to ask for. I would never, if I'm wanting to be a YouTuber, if I want to make YouTube videos, if I want to be a content creator, I want to know the ins and outs of every single thing that I'm going to create before I create it, even if somebody else is doing the part,
Exactly.
I would never sign up to. Here's what I was trying to think of. I would never just sign up to direct a movie if I didn't know the script. You know, I would never sign up for anything if I didn't know what I was getting into. Yeah. And when you're delegating to somebody that has a special set of skills that you don't necessarily have, but you don't know anything about, because it's okay to hire. You know, Harris says, "Oh, Sam's a better editor than me." It was okay. It's okay that Harris found somebody.
It took him several years of editing his own stuff to figure that out. And
he knows exactly what to ask you. He knows exactly what he wants out of you. He just knows you can do it faster and cleaner. It's not like he'd never heard of a J-cut before you. It's not like he had never heard of. It's not like he didn't know what file formats he wanted. It's not he
didn't know what a J-cut was.
Shh. Don't undermine my point.
The thing is, though,
let you know what I'm saying.
It wasn't the editing styles that he was worried about. It was the content that he was worried
exactly.
about. The way he explained things, and the flow and the pace of the videos. He had set a precedence and what he enjoyed and what he liked. And then I carried that on and I brought in a new editing style because I was better, I was more experienced at that. And he instantly went, I like it. Let's keep doing it. And that is the difference between somebody who knows what they want and what they can do, and then passing to somebody else and going, okay, this is what I enjoy. This is how I do my videos.
Exactly.
This is my order. Cook it for me.
Exactly.
Kind of thing.
Yes.
I've got this. This is my recipe. Please make it. And if you follow this recipe, it should be exactly the same thing. And it's not. And that's not to say an editor shouldn't be given creative freedom. Harris trusts me with his videos, and at this point in time, it's one of those things where it's he leaves me the footage, and I'll just get to it. And by the time I've done everything, it's okay, that looks good.
Yep.
He trusts me that much with the content now that I've been doing that for that long. He's I don't need to review these edits anymore. Only when we do specific things, he looks at it and goes, change this, and then we're good. I think I had one edit from him, one video. He watched through it. He left one note, and it was looks good. That was it. One note.
That's amazing.
One change.
Do you remember what video that was?
That was it. I can't remember at this point, but it was a very it was honestly I did all the B-roll, everything. I was okay, I'm gonna put everything, all of the video, because he was still, I think it was just after a 24-hour stream, he was still asleep, and I was I'm just gonna do everything, and then I waited a few hours. He opened it up, the video was practically done. He watched it back and went, looks good. And I was okay, cool, upload it.
Keep him with our food analogy. I think you're the only person I've ever met who appreciates analogies as much as I do, and I love that about you. I love
analogies. I think they're a great way to explain points. My favorite analogy, by the way, is the burger restaurant one.
Yes, that was one of my favorites of yours. Yes, especially.
It's the one with people saying oh, I don't know, oh, do you think people are content creators too saturated? How do I know? How do I get into it? In terms of, how do I know if somebody's doing my stuff better than me? Or I want to do this stuff, but those people are doing it already. And I'm okay, how many burger restaurants are there in the world?
Yeah.
You got McDonald's, so you have Burger King, you have Wendy's, you have Arby's, you got In-N-Out, you got so many, right? So many burger restaurants. And you have then, from there, you have the big franchises, and you have the smaller ones. You have the smaller ones that are mom and pop kind of, restaurants or, bars and all that. They do their own burgers that are really top notch, that aren't franchises. Five Guys, examples content creation is like that. You are a restaurant, you are a business selling your product to the world, and your product is a video, it's content, right? Each brand, each kind of burger has its own flavor, has its own style, has its own look and appearance, has its own feel. It generates a kind of emotion within you. Do the same thing with your content. People go to McDonald's for something different than they go to Burger King or go to Arby's, or different people have different tastes, and not every piece of content that you do will meet everyone's tastes. Or my videos on streaming might be different to Noah's videos on streaming, and they might prefer Noah's over me because he might say something in a better way, in a clearer way for somebody to understand. Just because somebody else is doing it doesn't mean you shouldn't do it yourself.
That's right. 100%. I couldn't agree more. That was one of the, I think you gave that advice before I really worked with you, before I was really a mod. And I think it was one of those things that I was all right, Sam deserves my time. Sam gets it. Sam knows what to say. because man, that is right up my alley. I think the analogy I would give for content is that it's a lot like cooking, in a way. It's like, you know, I might, if I decide I've earned, somebody who has no taste for scrambled eggs, for example, won't appreciate Gordon Ramsay cooking scrambled eggs, right?
Yes.
But Gordon Ramsay probably charges like $300 for a plate of scrambled eggs, right?
Yeah.
And so some people go and they're like, okay, well, I don't really know exactly what kind of scrambled eggs I'm going to serve. I'm providing the eggs, and I'm providing the ingredients, and I'm giving them to Gordon Ramsay and paying him $350 to serve somebody scrambled eggs. And it's like, oh, hey, well, these eggs aren't coming out as great as at Gordon Ramsay's restaurant. I wonder why that is. Well, part of it I haven't improved my ingredients, and number two is I'm paying for all this and seeing no return because nobody likes my eggs.
Yeah.
And it's like,
is that? But there's also the difference between like it's experience as well, because Gordon Ramsay versus me cooking eggs is completely different.
Sure.
You know? The man's putting freaking, you know, creme fraiche and bacon, all this crap into the eggs, and I'm here cooking them in a frying pan. I'm going, huh? Like,
yeah.
Unless you learn and you experiment and you try new things out, you're not gonna have that kind of like, oh, that's how you do it kind of moment. That thing of like trying new things and branching out and having the experience of how your own content, how to make your content. You know, some people in these, you know, I'm here editing as if I'm, you know, playing a Mozart on the piano. You know, I've seen people edit that are like click, move, click, move, click, and I'm here going JKLEQW optional, you know, shift home. I'm doing all this stuff. I'm not even touching the mouse. I'm using the keyboard to edit. I don't use this anymore.
Really? Not at all? Hardly?
I don't edit with the mouse. I just use JKL, IOE, IOE, JKL, forward, backward, IO, delete, don't want to see that, IOE to append, IOE to, like, I do all that on the keyboard. I only use the mouse to go to another program. You know, I don't even do that. I do Command Tab now, because that's I just use that to go between applications. And like that for me, right, is experience. It's taken me a while to know how to master the editing program and the software and the craft.
Yes,
it's important, the craft. You know, you can push buttons as an editor, but to know how to tell a story correctly, you need to know how to edit. Right. Same with cooking. You know, you can make when you're starting off, you're cooking cake from those, you know, boxes you buy. You know, Walmart or whatever, those, you know, they put the powder in, put milk, water in, and put it in the oven, and it's done. You know?
Yep.
That's how you start baking cake until you start developing a recipe. And that's the point of experience is it's very similar.
That's wonderful. One of my favorite, we keep going back to Gary Vee, but of course we both love him.
We do.
One of one of my other favorite Gary Vee things is he says, you develop taste way quicker than you develop skill. And I would argue that before you start delegating, you have to at least develop a bit of skill, because then your tastes are going to be really refined. You're going to know exactly what you want and exactly what you're looking for, exactly what you're going to get.
Yep. There you go.
All right, Sam. We didn't even have to hardly touch my notes on stuff I was going to ask you about. Like,
have we covered all the stuff you wanted to cover?
I'm looking at it. We got everything that I think we wanted to talk about. I think the only thing, the last question I want to ask you is why now, presently, I asked you like why in the past didn't you choose, but why now are you attracted to Twitch over YouTube at this very moment? For streaming, at least. Obviously you're doing a lot of stuff on YouTube. You love YouTube.
I'm doing more YouTube now than I am with Twitch, and
when it comes to the live portion of your
I've been struggling with a lot. Like, why am I still streaming on Twitch? Like, I do enjoy Twitch. I enjoy being on Twitch. I like what it stands for as a platform. I don't like the people running it right now.
Yeah.
I think there's some important things that need to be talked about. We have some serious issues on the platform, a lot of discrepancies, a lot of what's the word I'm after? Like two-faced things going on. I don't know what the word is. Like we have like a
discrepancies, inconsistencies.
That's the word. Inconsistencies. Like I want to know why. I'm worried. I'm concerned about new people joining the platform. And what about some of the terms of service policies? I'm worried a lot about, even as a partner, like, of course. Mm-hmm. You genuinely, you're encouraged to be the guy on the platform, the girl on the platform that people look up to you for.
Yep.
And for me right now, Twitch is a very interesting place where I love the community, and I think the community is the only thing that I love about Twitch right now. My community.
Yeah.
The platform itself, the experience of being on the platform is worrying.
Yeah.
But my community is the only reason why I'm staying around.
It affects you as well. Like, it affects your brand. Like, you're a Twitch partner. You are partnered with Twitch. Twitch is as much partnered with you as you are partnered with them. You are you have to
ahead, and they're doing stuff that's very potentially damaging.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, you're on Twitch. Oh wait, they did that thing a while ago. Let's not work with you.
No kidding. I've been thinking about that kind of stuff constantly. I've been thinking about the kind of when it comes to like the fact that streamer drama or Twitch drama is the only thing that really we see go mainstream when it comes to like news from our kind of corner of the internet.
Over the last few months, I've noticed a lot more things that Twitch have been doing a lot more wrong than been doing right lately. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen many things that people at Twitch have been appraised for in the last 6 months.
Sure.
I've seen a lot of, ooh, why are you doing that? What's going on? And I've seen a lot of like just people, Twitch just like screwing over people's, channels. It's just a lot of upper end, high end management stuff that's really making me concerned right now. Mm-hmm. And I still think Twitch is a strong platform. But it's turning into not the best.
Yeah.
And it's I mean, there's platforms like YouTube and Facebook Gaming right now that are like, I may even consider telling people instead of streaming on Twitch to stream elsewhere.
Yeah, to give it a shot.
It's becoming like that. Yeah, because it is becoming like that, where it's like, even getting Twitch partner, it feels like an embarrassment sometimes.
Yikes. Well, especially when you share partnership with people who, there was a huge movement for people who were doing some not great stuff, let alone like on a personal level, let alone on a brand level. And it was like, well,
and even I think at the time of this recording, there was somebody else that was partnered today that's has some questionable background.
Yes, I saw that on Twitter. Yeah,
and I don't want to go into that on Twitch, but like it's one of those things where that worries me.
Yeah, because now you're associated with that person. That person's on your level.
Exactly.
He's practically a coworker, if you want to think of it that way. And that person's associated with you indirectly, and
yeah.
And Twitch has said
it's keeping me thinking about YouTube a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. And platforms make mistakes, and Twitch has listened to the community generally speaking. There was that all that drama, of course, with the mid-roll ads, and they said, okay, we heard you. We're gonna take a step back from those. We're gonna reevaluate.
But then there was like things that the raid changes they did.
But the raid changes came out.
They didn't tell anyone. They didn't tell us.
Yikes!
There's a level of communication here that is not present, and I think YouTube's being more communicative. I've looked at people like Fwiz on Twitter who has shared what's being planned and ideas that have been discussed around YouTube Live, and it's like he's piquing my interest. He really is. He really is piquing my interest.
And I would love for Twitch to stay on top. Personally, I would love for Twitch to stay number one because I love the community.
To have two platforms, to have a streaming platform and a VOD platform. It really makes sense. But if the platform that you're posting your streaming on is starting to self-destruct itself,
we would have loved for our ex-girlfriends not to cheat on us, but they did, and we had to get rid of them. So.
Exactly.
And so Twitch is kind of going down the same road. I would love for Twitch to kind of figure it out and stay the number one streaming platform. I would love to keep the community where it's at. I would love to keep the diversity. I would love for Twitch to innovate even higher as they have in the past, with, back in the day, subs, raids, bits, those were fresh ideas. That did amazing things, makes it viable for us to be sitting where we are today. But now they're doing more. I think Twitch's idea right now is to maintain market share rather than to gain market share. Their idea is to get partners on exclusive contracts rather than provide more benefits for partners. Yeah. And so that's why Twitch has the only exclusivity clause built into their,
making it like a secure platform for people to enjoy being on. It's kind of worrying.
The path of least resistance for keeping the highest market share. Because right now, per Devin Nash, no streaming platform is actually profitable right now. No streaming platform is turning a profit. They're all competing for market share.
I don't know. I think YouTube is making more of a profit than Twitch. I disagree with Devin on that one.
They might be making more money per user. But I'm not sure if they're turning up. I think they still might be doing the live streaming service at a loss compared to the rest of their services.
But that's not when Google makes the money.
Right. Well, it's not how Amazon makes their money either. That's why the only viable streaming platforms have been owned by Microsoft, Amazon, Google. What's the one I forget? Facebook, of course. We always forget about Facebook. But that's the only reason that those are the companies that own these streaming platforms, is because the streaming platforms themselves aren't making the money. They're investing because the hope is when Twitch figures out how to do ads exactly. And when YouTube figures out how to get more market share and all that, eventually, and brands start taking us more seriously, and hopefully stuff other than drama comes out. Hopefully, the hope is that streaming platforms do become profitable, and when that happens, the company that has the most market share is going to come out, is making the most profit naturally. So
I think out of all of this, though, I can only see Twitch going one of two ways. One, they figure out a way to really come out on top that's going to provide a value for streaming on the platform. Because let's be honest with you, right? Twitch is in its own bubble. If you think about it. Once you reach Twitch Partner, once you've done... What else can you do on Twitch except for Twitch Partner?
It's stuff set by you arbitrarily. It's like, I want to hit 500 concurrent viewers. I want to hit 1,000 subs.
Viewers, exactly. You want to get to a certain amount of money per sub. But at the same time, when it comes to YouTube, I feel there's more opportunities for creative development on YouTube.
Yep.
You can challenge stuff to make new videos. You can challenge stuff to do new things. You can really expand yourself and go as deep as you want to. And you're pretty limitless when it comes to creativity on YouTube, with certain caveats. But like on Twitch, I just don't see that. You're stuck on a streaming platform with a PC or a computer with a game or some other kind of thing, and that's it.
That's right.
And I guess, and it's probably just my own desire to want to do more, but I genuinely don't see Twitch as a platform that it's got a very low ceiling. We see Twitch as a very high ceiling, but in reality, it's got a very low ceiling.
Yeah, proportional to especially to YouTube. Yeah, where the ceiling is way out of the ballpark. Yeah, I think you're exactly right.
It's not difficult to get partnered on Twitch, in my opinion,
compared to the kind of stuff that the ambitions you can carry on other platforms. I think too, it's telling what happened to Mixer. I think Mixer was a perfect study for Twitch to see. It was kind of a peak, when in Lord of the Rings, where Galadriel has that big pot and Frodo looks into it and he sees.
You're gonna hate me. I haven't seen Lord of the Rings.
Ah, for God's sake, Sam! All right. Everybody else in chat can vibe with me here.
Harry Potter, where he looks into the. What's the thing in Dumbledore's thing with the tear? What's that thing?
With the mirror, whatever, and he sees. Well, in the mirror, he sees what he wants, right? Or what?
No. In the thing in Dumbledore's.
Oh
mirror.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, but go a little bit, yeah. But J.K. Rowling got it from Tolkien. but anyway, here's what happens. Frodo's on a quest to destroy the ring, right? You know that much about Lord of the Rings. He meets this elven. She's this she's this really powerful magic. She's one of the most powerful magicians, like known to the elves, and the elves are super magical, right? And so he visits this elf, and she shows him this vision in this pot, or in this looking pool, and he sees his home city enslaved. and he sees like him failing, and he says and she's like, this is what will happen if you fail, basically. And Mixer was that for Twitch. Mixer was that. It was like this is exactly, because Mixer, honestly, exactly like Twitch. It was just truly, to me, there were very small differences in the way they ran things, but the major difference between Twitch and Mixer was the size. Was the size.
Was the base, so the users.
Correct. Most of the features were very similar. The communities had similar strengths, I would say. But it's telling to see that in 2019, the only two streaming platforms to lose market share were Twitch and Mixer. It just so happens that Twitch still has a majority of the market share, and so they're not too worried about losing it as much as Mixer was. But Mixer said, we're only plummeting from here. We're in free fall. We have to shut down. That could easily be Twitch. Twitch should be looking at Mixer as a learning experience, I feel, and saying, this is what happens if we don't innovate. This is what happens if we don't bring something new.
The thing is that most Twitch streamers do it backwards, though. They think of Twitch first, then YouTube.
That's right, yeah.
When they should think of it as YouTube first, then Twitch. YouTube should be your main primary content platform in terms of getting an actual audience. Then Twitch should be the platform that you go to communicate with those people from the platform. Or don't even do that, just use YouTube Live. I genuinely think 2021 is the year YouTube solidify themselves as a serviceable, profitable platform. Genuinely.
So I think it could be.
By the way, if you reach the requirements on YouTube to the monetization requirements on YouTube to make money, are you making? Have you hit those requirements on YouTube? I haven't,
not personally.
Well, when you do, instantly you get 70-30 rev share
of everything.
You get rev share on the subs, members, on the super chats, everything. It's not 50-50.
Wow.
It's 70-30.
Wow.
Straight out the gate like that, 70-30, and then it's like 55-45, I think, something like that for ad share.
Better than 50-50.
So you get more, you get the extra ads, you get the extra income straight away as soon as you open those, you start streaming on YouTube.
Wow. And of course, if you heard Facebook for the rest of for the next year or something like that is giving 100% of revenue from subs. Man, and monetization options used to be Twitch's number one thing. That used to be where they held, but they're not innovating, and other places are figuring it out.
They've gone stale. They're not pushing the envelope anymore.
And again, I always feel, as somebody who's talking about this on Twitch, like somebody is looking over my shoulder, like with a disapproving eye.
Genuinely, I do as well. And that's a worry, though. That is a genuine concern. If you are scared of the platform you are talking about, what does that say about the platform?
That's true. That's a little true.
Genuinely, if you are scared, if you go, Twitch did this. If you do that, you are. That's a concern.
We were talking about this with Scott the other day on his stream.
I was talking with Scott. It's like you genuinely feel like you have to watch your back on Twitch. I don't know if anyone else feels like that, but I genuinely, over the last few months, feel like somebody's watching my channel, and then I have to keep an eye out on things. I have to kind of keep my cool about things and not say anything, because I'm worried that Twitch are going to turn around and go, "We saw you say this. What do you mean?" Like turn around and do Mr. Mr. Bond, that kind of thing. Like I'm not, just pull the lever and just I'm down the chute kind of thing. Like, I genuinely am concerned. I'm worried about it. And if you feel like that with the platform, then
it's concerning.
It is. It really is.
But because of that reason, I want to stress that I only bring up this topic and I only talk about this topic because I want to see Twitch succeed, because I love this platform for the reasons that I love it, and from where it's come from. And
like there's from where it is now. TwitchCon's amazing. The community you built on it is awesome. Like,
I want to go to TwitchCon, man.
But at the same time, like,
but is it going to be worth it?
Is it worth it? Yeah. Is it worth it?
Oh man, that's going to be the question. That's going to be the question the next year, the next 2 years. That's going to be the question until they fight tooth and nail.
If YouTube, as soon as YouTube go, click, here's gift membership, here's raids, here's this.
Because it's literally click for them practically at this point.
YouTube have the ability to make the changes, right, overnight, and Twitch to get 100,000 people on the platform tomorrow.
I think you are 1,000% correct. I've been saying it for months.
YouTube have that, yeah. YouTube have that, and like it's just like, you know, they're going click. Here's the options. Here's the gate. YouTube is more accessible for people that have got channels that don't relate to gaming.
That's exactly right. Yep.
You know, Twitch
I think
is very much a
changing
gaming-focused platform.
Prime gaming might have bigger ramifications when it comes to branding than I think people realize, because associating with branding is like career suicide at this point. And I don't think, I mean, I'm all for underdogs, but I don't think putting yourself in the underdog position.
I wouldn't be surprised if YouTube gaming turns into YouTube Live.
Well, I just think that live streaming will just open up to more of YouTube, and maybe they'll keep YouTube gaming as a live.
YouTube would be the same thing, and then but I do feel like the YouTube Live. What if we see live.youtube.com in the next couple of months?
Yeah, as its own thing. Yeah.
A YouTube, like a Twitch-based platform where you see who's live from your subscriptions, and then a bunch of recommended content, and then underneath it you see recommended content from the people you subscribe to. That's VODs, and you can click and get to normal YouTube. Discoverability. People you might like from these streams that we're streaming right now. Here's a video that you can watch before you go check out the stream.
1,000%. 1,000%. And it could literally be tomorrow.
Or before you click on a new person's stream, you have to watch a video of theirs to see if you like it.
It could
like
anytime now.
You get insights into what they are. You know, it is anytime, and I think it's just time.
And then creators,
YouTube are holding back. I genuinely believe it.
They really are 1,000%. Best part about that scenario is that creators win.
Yeah,
you know, creators have a great platform. That's what.
And if it does end up being a thing where YouTube is a better platform over Twitch, Twitch will still have a market share.
Sure.
I mean, there's no other platform on there like Twitch. You know, like
we could say that for sure.
You know, more ways than one. But like. It's one of those things where like there's no mixer. There's Facebook for sure, but Facebook I don't see being on the same level as Twitch, and I don't think Facebook wants to be on the same level as Twitch.
Yeah, I think Facebook just kind of wants their slice of the pie. Yeah, I think that's what they're just going for. It's not like YouTube, where it's like YouTube really feels like they could just snag and say we're going to dominate this field as well.
Yep. But YouTube can. That's the thing.
YouTube could tomorrow.
Everyone has a YouTube account. Not everyone has a Twitch account. Everyone has a Google account and a YouTube account. My dad watches YouTube.
Yep.
My mom watches YouTube. My sister, everyone watches YouTube.
It's 1,000% correct.
You know, it's just bigger platform. You know, all you do is super switch, and all of a sudden you have 100 million users going, "Oh, live stream," you say. "Oh, okay." With all these new features, we can make monetize. Oof, it's just crazy.
YouTube could Thanos snap Twitch's market share tomorrow.
Can you imagine if they do that? I would love to see an overnight. I would love to see an overnight jump of people moving from Twitch to YouTube and go, guys, we're going to YouTube. Sorry, Twitch, you're out, baby. Bye bye.
Because then, and then you and I become early adopters, right? And everybody who's there becomes early adopters, and we're like Gary Vee getting on AdSense in 2004. You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
So.
We'll see.
Oh man, we'll see. I would really love to see Twitch kill it, but I'm not gonna. My emotions. You know, I would be disappointed to see Twitch fail.
I have a question for you. Because you know it's a podcast, but I want to ask you a question.
Okay, good, awesome.
If YouTube were to implement Twitch style live streaming controls on their platform tomorrow, would you switch?
I'd be weary tomorrow, honestly. I don't know if I would be brave enough to make the jump, because it's scary, you know? It'd be scary. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not going to lie, because there's, you know, what establishment I have is largely established on Twitch. You know, I have
mine too.
I have 4 times the Twitch followers that I have YouTube subscribers. And obviously those metrics aren't everything, nor do they even say a whole lot, even necessarily. No. But it's, you know, something I keep in my mind. Also, you know, I would have to do a lot of research, you know, probably more than a day's worth of research into YouTube's monetization options, see if YouTube could be viable for me with the size that I am, you know, versus Twitch. Not that necessarily that Twitch is paying my bills right now.
Also do things where you set up more, like, you can, instead of $4.99, you can set up $1.99 subs.
You can set up your sub price. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's kind of neat. I might do.
Yeah,
I would might
more,
do $4
you can have
subs.
more than the 3. You can have like 5 sub prices. You can have like $9.99, like a 99. No, you know, $9.99. You can have a $4.99. You can have a $2.99,
$14.99, or
exactly. You can have it in between
$99.99.
You can $100 a month if you wanted
to.
But like if you wanted to do
Set
like,
up more like
99
Patreon.
cents a month, 99 cents a month, yeah, you can just do that. And
Wow.
you got subscribers that you might have more subs at 99 cents a month than
Then at $5 a month, right?
But that increases massively, so you're earning like,
Wow, that's very interesting. Anyway, it would take some bravery on my part, but I could say I could probably say now that I'm in the space and I'm with people and I've got 6 months ago I'd probably say no, right? Or I probably would give the same answer, but I probably wouldn't. But nowadays, I have a support system set up. I have people not just in my community, but friends and family who would support the decision. I've got people like you. I've got people like our team that would probably be smart enough to make the jump with us or with me.
Can I be honest as well?
Sure.
I would.
I think you would. I think 1,000% you would.
Because it's down to also being a trendsetter as well.
Yep, exactly.
If I can you imagine, okay, not going to gloat or brag about it, but okay, another question for you: if I switch to YouTube, would you?
Not necessarily, but it would definitely. I don't know that I will switch to YouTube before you do. That's for sure.
Right.
I think you will definitely. I think
if I were to switch to YouTube for streaming, I guarantee a couple of people that from my community would go, I'm going to follow suit because it makes a smart move. Not everyone would.
I might allow, depending on how early and how much YouTube has set up, I might take the opportunity to watch what happens for you and get your perspective on it and get your experience with it before I commit to making the jump myself. But depends, Maybe I do. If things change in a month, if I'm doing way better on YouTube and my Twitch and maybe my conversion rate isn't super high over to Twitch, maybe. In fact, probably a good chance in that scenario. Probably a very strong chance. Yeah. So, it's definitely possible.
We'll see what the future holds for sure.
I like keeping options open. I think is the smartest thing to do. Keeping absolutely. If Brian by some miracle took over the streaming market, I would not be like, oh well, no, Brian's just a trend. I would not be like, oh no, well, everybody, Devin Nash said Brian is a joke, so I'm never gonna take on Brian. Like, you gotta, swallow. Gary V's like, swallow sometimes I'm wrong on shit, and he's like, I could have invested in Uber, and I said it was never gonna go anywhere, and he's like, well, I just
you make a loss and you bite your tongue, you kick yourself, and you carry on to the next one. You don't let it kind of linger.
That's right. Great question. Great question. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, I don't get to talk about this kind of stuff on my own stream all that much, and kind of dive this deep into something that like this, and it was really quite refreshing to do it. Really.
That's good. I'm glad you saw this as an opportunity for yourself. That's what I set to do. That's my aim, is to give people like you a place where you can talk, you can get direct. I can kind of represent the community almost, or represent somebody who wants to know just so much more about you and what you do and what the kind of stuff that you can do in your story and how it relates to them. I do want to answer a question in chat, which is, why would you switch versus somebody said multi-streaming makes your brand look desperate, and it does. It really does make your brand look desperate. There's no two ways about it. If you multi-stream your content to multiple platforms at once, then it says more about you than it shows a lack of confidence to stick with one platform. It shows a lack of confidence and a lack of willingness to stick with one platform. I think I agree 1,000%. I had somebody, and there are more professional ways to do it than others. I've seen some where they have chat on screen, and they show the different chats as each other. But I saw the other day I came into a stream. I raided somebody, and I didn't know this before I raided them, but I started paying attention to what they were doing, and they were chatting. They were talking as if they were responding to chat, and there was nothing going on in chat. And I started to realize, I was like, oh my god, this person's multi-streaming. I found one in the wild, and sure enough, I was like, he even was apologizing. He was like, you guys probably have no idea what's going on. I'm just responding to the other chat. And I was like, see, but now I feel why do
you do that? Like,
now I feel underappreciated, you know? Now I feel like, well.
Like, it's like, it cheapens your brand. It cheapens your appearance. It makes it like you're desperate. Like you're going, I don't know, I'm not going to, I can't find viewers on Twitch. So you know what I'm going to do? Because I'm so desperate to get viewership, I'm going to stream on 6 platforms at once. Yeah. Don't do it.
And if you disagree, that's fine. One. Just realize that a non-zero number of people hold that. No, I'm kidding. Just realize a sizable number of people hold that opinion. And so, are you really reaching more people? You know, are you really reaching more? Are you really bringing value to more people? You know, I understand totally wanting to bring the most valuable, the most value to the most people. I understand that totally. Because if you really believe in yourself and believe in your content, that's something you want to set out to do. But I think there's other ways to do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't even use it to change platforms either. I wouldn't.
You wouldn't use it as a transition, like multi-stream over Twitch and YouTube for a little while to switch to YouTube. You just hop.
No, it weakens the impact. It weakens the switch. It makes you you're hesitant on a decision. If you're going to switch platforms, switch. If you're going to multi-stream to a new platform, to test the waters, it means you're unconfident in your abilities to trust yourself, to jump into the deep end and go with it. Like, go for it. Don't go, I'm streaming on YouTube now, but you're also streaming on Twitch. Well, yeah, because I'm not sure if it will work out that well. Right, so what's the point of, you know?
Exactly. I think a lot of people, I think there's when it comes to self-confidence, I think there's a fear of arrogance in the air with creators these days, because we see there's no shortage of people who have crossed the line of self-confidence and have gone into arrogance or have gone into self-importance. You know, it's not uncommon. And I think people getting into the creative space fear that more than they fear not having confidence in themselves. They say, I'd rather err on the side of humility, but really err on the side of shame and unconfidence than I would err on the side of looking overconfident. And I think that hurts a lot of people, because I think there are so many people who choose not to believe in themselves because they would think it would take hubris to believe in themselves.
Yes, no, I agree. I think so many people don't like to value themselves as important, and that is and that's more of a commentary on the society that we've built for ourselves. And I think it's one of those things where, like,
if I may,
value so carry on. I'm trying to structure this sentence.
I think it's a matter of people. I think we need to really hammer home. I think our culture needs to really, like, reinforce that it's totally socially acceptable to be passionate about something. I think people, when they get on passionate talks, they're afraid of being called a nerd, you know. But it's totally awesome. It's great. I think it makes the world a better place to have passion, be passionate about shit.
So many people comment on my stream like they love it when I get passionate about a topic, because I get fired up and I really go into it.
That's me.
And like it's one of those things where streaming on another platform and making that decision and trusting your gut, but also having an understanding of, like, I know, like, you know what's at stake if you do. You know the risks, but you're willing to take that risk, and you're willing to make a change that you believe in or benefit you for the most part. All right, like, and your supporters will follow you. I guarantee if I move to YouTube, a good majority of people that I go to,
I bet you would have higher viewership on YouTube, honestly.
I mean, I don't know, I can't guarantee that, but like, it's that thing of like I bet, because we talk about all the time on YouTube and on Twitch, where that we should always be, I mean, it's that is it Wayne Gretzky quote, is skate to where the puck is going.
I thought you were gonna do you miss every shot you don't take, Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott.
No, that one. But like, it's Steve Jobs' used to be his motto was like, skate to where the puck is going, not where it's been.
Right.
And genuinely, history repeats itself, you know?
Yes, history repeats itself 1,000%.
You
Keep knocking my
skate to where
mic
the
around.
puck is going. If YouTube looks as though it's going to be the platform, if YouTube tick those boxes, sure, it's not a perfect platform by any means. However, it is a platform that has and will outgrow. I'll give an example. My subscribers on YouTube, I have 40k subscribers on YouTube, close to.
Yep.
I have half of that on Twitch and followers. I streamed before I made YouTube content. I had like 15,000 followers I had around 10k followers on YouTube, on Twitch. I had 1k on YouTube. My YouTube has overtaken my Twitch
Exponentially.
like massively. I just showed you how much more of a discoverable platform, right? That YouTube is, right? And that kind of thing of like that discoverability factor of my content just shows you how potentially much bigger the live streams can be.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I'm starting to wonder, there's not really any exclusivity with when it comes to YouTube and Twitch and Twitch affiliates. There's not really, I'm not barred from streaming on YouTube. I wonder if I should start doing this podcast on, you are, yes.
Yeah.
I wonder if I should start doing this podcast on YouTube.
I could work.
Would you be banned? Would you be barred from being on a guest on the podcast?
No, not a guest. No.
Not like how the doc can't be a guest on a Twitch podcast.
No, so I'm not banned.
Right. Okay.
It's not my name on there. I'm just a
Not your
guest.
name. Got you. Okay.
If they decided to restrict people, go, oh no, you can't do that. I'm like, why? Because you'll be on YouTube. You're a Twitch partner. You're exclusive to Twitch. I'll be like, right. I am going.
yeah, that's right.
I'm leaving. Get me off my partner thing because I'm done. This is such a stupid thing to focus on, Exclusivity always hurts. It's never successful,
What do you think about, what do you think about that brings something interesting then. What do you think about doing any type of if you do a type of content that's live that isn't necessarily community based but is more show based, like a podcast or like Critical Role or something like that? What do you think about multi-stream for something like that?
That's different.
I
think didn't Overwatch League do that for Twitch and YouTube for a while until they got exclusively? They're now exclusive to YouTube. They can't do that anymore.
Right.
Right. It's different for a brand to do that than a person. A larger brand is meeting for the majority of people because they want to sell more stuff or they want to engage with more people. We'll see. I think it's one of those things that's like varies from person to person, from company to company, and I don't think it's I just don't think exclusivity in any way is I always think it's a negative thing because it restricts you from being able to produce the stuff you want to produce.
1,000%. All right. Well, I might consider multi-streaming this show.
I don't think it will hurt you. I don't think
so
multi-stream. I wouldn't multi-stream. I think I'd stream on YouTube.
You just think it on YouTube?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm wondering. It's an interesting idea. I think though, if I do that, I might integrate my podcast and my primary YouTube channel. And I don't know if I necessarily want to do that, but at this point, maybe
try premiering the podcast on YouTube instead of just putting the video up.
Maybe that's not terrible, but it's on the second YouTube channel, which has a much smaller following, a fraction of the following than my primary one.
True.
I'm not sure. The biggest reason I split the podcast and my primary YouTube channel is that the frequency of content on the podcast channel is so high, right? I'm constantly putting out highlights from the podcast, if not the podcast themselves. From this podcast with you, I'll get 4 or 5 YouTube videos that I'll put out over the next 3 weeks. So that's like more than a video a week. And so what will happen is if I were to put that on my primary channel, it would be the majority of my content, which I don't think reflects necessarily what I want the majority of my content to be on the primary channel. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, yeah, I'm with you.
And so I'm not sure what I want to do there. But I guess
what primary channel are we talking about here? Channel number 7, 6, 4.
Well, actually, it would be channel number 6. Yeah.
Oh.
I had 5. I had my very first one was called JNN247. Then I had JNS247. I think. I had Rocks Your Face. I had Saxy Tunes. I did music on one called Saxy Tunes.
Oh dear.
I had one for my college. I have my primary one, my podcast one, my D&D one, and my music one. So that's 9 in total. And my primary one's number 6. But my primary one's the only one. All 4 of my current YouTube channels have more subs than all the rest of my channels before it. Oh, shit. No, 7. Because of the YouTube channel I did with my friend in college. So I had 6 YouTube channels before. My 7th one is now my primary one. And I'm up to 10 in total over the course of my life. And so it was 7. Phantom got it right. Phantom and Glitch in chat got it right. But hey, 6 of those are defunct, all right? It doesn't count. 6 of those are defunct. I changed gears. And now the 4 current ones, all 4 of them have more subs than the other 7 did, or the other 6 did. And the primary one is the only one to get over 100 subs. So it's really like, it's not like I think he is addicted to making content.
I usually like to recommend growing one YouTube channel before making 4 others. But Noah likes to go behind that thought and just go, you know what, I'm going to make 12 and see what happens.
I gotta, it's kind of like, for me, it'd be like saying invest in only one stock. It's like, yeah, I mean, but for me, it's like, well, but you know, what if I really fall in love with doing this podcast? What if I wanted to become the Joe Rogan of content creators, or you know, if I like H3H3 or something like that. If I decided I fell in love with interviewing guests, like, you know, and it took off, you know, and that opportunity met. So, or what if I fell in love with doing D&D, you know, like,
yeah.
And I'm never going to stop doing music. So I may as well,
just died.
Maybe
that indicates of how long we've been going for.
Mine's still at 2 bars. I think yours is weak sauce. And I'm never going to stop doing music, right? So I may as well make content out of, you know, I may as well document, right? Instead of create. And so, you know, naturally just 4 YouTube channels just kind of came about, and oh well. I would like to.
Oopsie daisy.
I am still trying to, and I'm not working on. The thing is that they're not detracting any from my primary channel. I'm still working. In fact, I'm probably working more on my primary channel than I was before, because now I'm in a work mindset instead of a content mindset. So, you know, And if my primary channel takes off and I have to sacrifice some of the work of the other channels after that, then maybe. But this has to be one of the best podcasts I've ever watched. I just saw that in chat. So
it's one of the longest I've been in.
I think it's the longest. This is by far the longest I've done.
Yeah, for sure.
Let alone ones that I've listened to. This is a behemoth.
Thank you for having me on, though, for sure. I really have enjoyed the time.
Pleasure's been all mine.
I've enjoyed the conversations we've had, because it's been like a real insight into both of our heads, I think, to kind of see what we can, what we do and how we make things, you know.
1000%.
And that behind the curtain look is always an important thing for new people, and even people that have been doing it for a while. A fresh perspective is always nice to listen to and to hear
1000%.
and to, you know.
All right, brother. Thank you so much.
Man.
I think you've got some sleepy time to get to at this point.
Well, I've just signed up for the gym, and I'm tempted to go to the gym.
Oh, look at you! All right. This is usually the time, the best time to go to the gym, I find. Well, you want to hear a real damn shame? You want to hear a real damn shame? So I work for a company that has a gym on campus,
Oh, that's awkward.
and I do not go to the gym. And now we're working from home, so like I have an excuse. Like I can't go to campus, so it's all right. However, my apartment complex also has a gym, and I have never stepped foot in it.
Why are you not utilizing that? Especially during COVID, you just use that stuff.
Yeah, I could be spending time making content instead. What, am I gonna start a gym channel, Sam?
All right. I mean, you know,
document my trips to the gym.
I'm gonna start losing weight, and by next TwitchCon, I'm gonna be a bit thinner. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Awesome, great, that's awesome.
I might go do that after this podcast. So
I feel like you've lost weight since I've known you, just by looking
since
at
the
you.
podcast started. I don't know. You've lost weight since the podcast started. Sam, you've lost a lot of weight now. Right? You've been on for years.
Oh my god.
Your gym can't live on Instagram. There we go.
The problem with the gym is that if I ever start going to the gym, I have to start eating probably twice as much as I already do. Because I eat, you know, I'm a skinny guy. I am a small dude. I'm tall. Well, I'm average height probably. But I'm just
what's tall for you?
So I'm almost 5'10". I'm like 5'9.5".
All right.
So I'm not like Harris tall, right? I'm not like, that's a tall guy, you know, type of.
6'2". Yeah, the man is.
Yeah. How tall are you?
I'm 5'10", 5'11".
Okay, you're about the same height. You're about the height of my dad, maybe. My dad has shrunk. When growing up, my dad was 5'11", but now we're almost the same height, and I know I'm 5'9". So,
yeah.
But I weigh 120 pounds, 125 on a good day. So, and I cannot gain weight. I cannot gain weight.
Well,
I've
you
tried.
Gain muscle first. Just try gaining muscle.
That's the problem, Sam. The problem is I eat my body naturally craves protein and carbs.
Yeah.
And so I just
protein
eat
shakes, man.
I eat protein shakes. I make my own protein. I don't work out is the problem, but I make protein shakes.
The protein's
you know,
doing nothing then. You know, it's just sitting there.
You know what? I consume so much protein. Almost everything I eat is protein, fat, and carbs. It's like meat and protein and milk and cheese.
I'll lose weight. How about if I just gave my weight to you? How about
I have told so many people in my life, I said, I will take up that proposition in a heartbeat. Nobody's met me halfway. Everybody's selfish.
As I burn it off, you join the gym as well. We'll both exercise.
Oh, God. Keep each other accountable. No!
Right. I'm actually going to go and do that. I actually feel a little bit motivated to join the gym. How weird's that?
Glad I could motivate you.
Thank you, dude. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate you being here.
Pleasure's mine. I appreciate you.
As well. It's been fun.
I hope we can do it again sometime.
For sure. For sure.
Awesome.
But no, I will definitely chat to you off stream and all that. And
of course, soon. Tell me how the gym goes.
Cool.
All right, brother.
Man, yeah, we'll do. For sure.
All right, thanks, man.
All right, dude. I will chat to you all later on. I will save the recording and send it to you when I can, my dude.
Appreciate it, man. I might be able to use it for something here and there. All right, brother.
Dope.
Peace.
Awesome. All right, have a good one. Thank you, chat. Bye-bye.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching this very special episode of Straight Up the Creator Cast. If you want to check out more from the podcast, you can check it out over here, or you can follow Sam and my main channel by clicking on the subscriber icons here. Have a jazzy night.